Morning. At this time, we'll call the May 16th, 2025 meeting of the Wilson County Planning Commission into order. Anyone wishing to give testimony before this board today, if you would, please stand and raise your right hand. I hereby affirm the testimony I give today to be the whole truth, so help me God. Please say I do. I do. Thank you. We need to make an amendment to the minutes we approved for the March meeting. Ms. Weathers, you want to make the motion to amend it?
Yes, we have already approved these minutes. We did last month from the March 21st meeting, and there is one correction. There was an address wrong that was somebody sent to me for a subdivision of O.F. Darwin Estates. It was written as 1220 Old Horn Springs Road, and it's supposed to be 1220 Old Hunters Point Pike.
Putting that in the form of a motion.
I
will second that motion. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Those opposed, that motion will carry. Now we need to approve the minutes from the April 25th meeting. Do we have a motion?
Move approve.
Have a motion to approve from Mr. Thompson. Do we have a second? Second from Mr. Noakes. All of in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that will also pass. Christopher, do you want to start with old business today, sir?
Yes, sir. The first case on old business today is the site plan for Cherokee Marina Pool House. This was deferred from your May meeting. They have gotten us back an engineered site plan, and with some minor other technical corrections, staff can recommend approval of that.
Thank you, sir. Who's here to represent the site plan for Cherokee Marina? Do we have anyone? Do we have anyone here wishing to speak on this case? If not, I'll ask, do we have any questions from our board? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Ms. Weathers. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Turner. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion will carry. We'll go to the site plan for the Couchville Crossings, 645 and 657 Couchville Pike.
Mr. Chair, this applicant has requested deferral until the June 20th, 2025 meeting. This is their second deferral, and they are aware that they will have to pay the reapplication fee for advertising, and they have agreed to that. The reason for deferral for this case is because they are going to submit a master plan amendment with you to go before you next month to amend the rear yard setback requirement for the C4 plan commercial, where they were having issues with the fuel canopy for the proposed business.
Okay. Do we have anyone here wishing to speak on this case today? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to defer to the June 20th meeting.
Motion to defer.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Weathers to defer to the 20th. Who seconded it? A second by Mr. Renfro. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, that motion will also carry.
Is that the one on Lone Oak Road?
Yep.
I was just trying to, I can't read the roads up there, so I don't have my distance glasses, so I was trying to see what roads those were.
It's actually on Couchville Pike.
Coachville and what, the Lone Oak or Underwood or?
It's
Long.
it'd be Aldi would be the other road that it touches.
I'm sorry.
Aldi, it's directly south of the Denso warehouse.
Okay, move on.
We'll now move into new business.
Alrighty, the first item for new business is the application to rezone, and there's a land use amendment in here as well. Bear with me on this first paragraph, there's going to be a lot of numbers.
Okay.
The application has been submitted by First Industrial Realty Trust on behalf of the property owners below to rezone approximately 72.68 acres, tracts located at 1113 Couchville Pike, being Wilson County Tax Map 138, Parcel 39, 3461 Underwood Road, Map 138, Parcel 3903, 3522 Underwood Road, Map 138, Parcel 8.06, 3600 Underwood Road, Map 138, Parcel 8.07, 3662 Underwood Road, Map 138, parcel 8.08, 3556 Underwood Road, map 138, parcel 8.10. There's a Maddox Road, an unaddressed parcel on Maddox Road, which is map 138, parcel 41. 1116 Couchville Pike, map 138, parcel 44. And then there's an unaddressed parcel on Couchville Pike, which is map 138, parcel 45. The request to rezone these properties from R1 rural residential to C4 planned master plan commercial. Some of these properties will also require a land use amendment, and I will address those in my comments below. C4 is a master plan specific zone district, meaning a master plan of the property is required for rezoning. Uses proposed include distribution, office, commercial sales, light manufacturing, warehouse, and governmental uses. Staff will note that the county land use plan that was adopted in 2006 specifically calls for commercial development of the property fronting along the north side of Couchville Pike between Lone Oak Road and Underwood Road, with the implementation of a buffer area between any such development and nearby low-density residential and agricultural development. The current land use plan, however, does not call for high-intensity commercial west of Underwood Road. This plan incorporates 6 parcels west of the Underwood Road to be considered in this master plan. Staff will note that there are severe drainage issues that plague surrounding properties in this immediate area and heightened intensity or heightened duration of rainfall events. Planning staff has witnessed water flowing across the road in proximity to this parcel on several occasions. The Road Commission and Road Commission staff, Planning Commission and planning staff, and the Urban Type Facilities Board and Stormwater staff have some ability to affect road and drainage improvement in relation to the ultimate development of this property. Some of these drainage issues the applicant is proposing to help mitigate by providing large detention areas and problem areas and committing to providing 100-year detention for this site. The parcels to the west of Underwood Road have the largest detention structures to help accommodate this commitment. Also, the properties to the west are lower lying land that has experienced flooding issues in the past. Development of these parcels with drainage commitments could help to alleviate some of the issues in this corridor. The initial master plan shows a warehouse building over top of existing sinkholes on the property, which would seemingly propose them to be capped and no longer take surface drainage into the sinkhole. Staff has concerns about where the water would go, both in terms of surface runoff and within the sinkhole, the water table below ground. Speaking with the consulting county engineer on this case, they have outlined that sinkholes can be capped and mitigated, but in the instance of this site with the number of sinkholes present, a much better outcome would be to leave some of the sinkholes alone or mitigate with an injection well to allow them to continue taking on some water volume. This would require any resultant site plan for construction to differ from this conceptual plan. It would likely mean a smaller building would have to be proposed to accommodate such a scenario. However, that step would come in detail at the site plan stage if or after this zoning request were to be approved. The consulting engineer was not available to come, but I was able to talk to him, and this is site specific, but this is a narrative that we have for sinkholes across the county, not just in this area, that if there's a possibility to leave them untouched, that is always going to be the preferred.
Okay.
Staff can recommend approval of this rezoning and master plan for parcels 39.00 and 39.03 requests, since the current land use plan calls out these properties for commercial development. Staff does have to consider this in a two-tier approval, as not all the parcels have immediate land use direction for high-intensity commercial. Staff can see where the proposal for high-intensity commercial on the C4 zoning would make sense, but due to there being no direction in the land use plan currently being enforced, staff is unable to recommend approval of rezoning and master plan for parcels 8.06, 8.07, 8.08, 8.10, 44, and 45.0. Should the County Planning Commission or the County Commission ultimately decide to approve this request for rezoning, a site plan will be required at the time the property is proposed for development. Under commercial zoning, and all commercial requirements, including permitting, paving, landscaping, building material, and public sewer provisions, would apply to the property unless variance was granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals for any of the specifically listed site plan and commercial requirements. If the development is approved, the developer has committed some conditions of approval. These are as follows: 1,400 feet of Underwood Road to be widened to a 3-lane road section or other alternative approved by the Wilson County Road Commission. Entrances along Underwood Road are for emergency access only. These access points will be gated with Knox box access only. Signage will be posted at the Underwood and Couchville Road intersection stating no truck traffic permitted northbound on Underwood Road, or some similar language approved by the planning office. Stormwater detention on site will be designated to handle and safely pass a 100-year storm event. Our typical requirement for commercial is to safely pass the 25-year event, and they are committing to the 100-year. A 20-foot preservation do not disturb buffer will be placed along all adjoining residential zone parcels and along the right-of-way of Underwood Road. Some or all of these commitments will need to be made part of the final motion if Planning Commission ultimately decides to recommend approval. Staff has made copies of the rezoning request available to the Road Commission, executive staff, the school system executive staff, and emergency services. Staff will note that the proposed rezoning falls within the Gladeville-Weema Station's 5-mile ISO response zone for fire and emergency services. The county engineer has requested that the applicant, Planning Commission, and other interested parties be put on notice that the presence of sinkholes, caves, wetlands, and streams in land areas that are extremely flat, marshy, or steep may affect the development of this tract and the total number of lots realized through subdivision development. The rezoning does not appear to be in close or immediate proximity to any Century Farms based on the information provided to the Wilson County Planning Department. In addition, staff has been in direct contact with the Gladeville Utility District and was told that the applicant has contacted the Utility District and they are currently in the process of working out water service availability for the site. The following that's the next item. And that concludes sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, who's here to represent this case this morning? Mr. Bowles,
Yes, sir.
walking a little gingerly.
I do have a couple of handouts for the commission, if I could hand
Please.
those out. And they're the slides that Christopher has pulled up, but we can pass these out to everybody. So you can have a copy in front of you, so just turn around.
I'm gonna miss my sheriff. I ain't gonna time him. He's the applicant.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you know what?
Well, good morning. Yeah, Brendan Bowles with Kimley Horn Associates out of Nashville. Just wanted to say a few things about this application and clarify a couple of items here. So we know there's lots of people here to speak, some for and some against on this one. So understand the tensions that may be in the room. On the screen up there and also at your handout is a copy of the existing drainage patterns on the site. And you know, the county and state have made investments to attract commercial development along the 840 corridor over the years. You know, we believe it's good planning policy to allow for commercial and industrial development to be in close proximity to the interstate and on you know, improved roadways such as Couchville Pike. This site is less than half a mile from the interstate interchange, so we think it makes a lot of sense to have commercial development at this location. Couchville Pike was realigned and improved by the county with support of the state in 2008 to promote commercial development. There's commercial development existing on the south side of the road of Couchville Pike. This property has direct access to water and sewer, and we do have active letters from Gladeville Utility District for water and from the City of Lebanon for sewer. So we do have active current letters. We have new applications in them as well, but do have current letters for that. Christopher talked about the truck traffic. You know, all truck traffic would be routed to Couchville Pike. No trucks are intended to go into the residential part of the neighborhood. The driveways that are shown on the site plan on Lone Oak Road are going to be gated, so employees or trucks would not access, and really it's there to promote safety for emergency services. And also no cut-through traffic between Lone Oak and Underwood. Landscape buffers, Christopher mentioned that. We're willing to work with planning staff to look at areas where we can increase those, but we are 2 times the city or county requirement for landscaping, and committed to keeping the existing vegetation where we can. Christopher talked a little bit about the flooding, and that's kind of that map that has in front of you there. The blue areas are some of the karst areas, and some of the drainage patterns you see really all from north, west to southeast is the general drainage area. There is a lot of storage that's on the property on the west side of the property and on the east side. The flooding issues that are out there are going to remain to be out there until somebody does something about them. And that burden, can be taken on by a commercial development and a commercial project, and we can be the ones that fix it, or the county or the residents themselves, or somebody will have to spend money and time and energy and effort to repair those or improve those issues. So we are planning to increase the storage of the existing karst features by 25%, which is a significant amount of stormwater volume, and we're going to route it to our stormwater facilities in a way that it's controlled and maintained and safely conveyed downstream as it does today. We did meet with, did have a conversation with Mr. James Vaden and Warren and Tugwell, the county's consultant engineer, to talk through some of these things, and also met with Steve Murphy at the Road Commission to talk about the road improvements. There's no objections from the Road Commission on what we're proposing to do, and the widening of Couchville Pike. It's got a little bit of widening that's happening out there now, where you have turn lanes at the intersections, and so instead of having to taper down to 2 and then back out to 3, we just make it consistent 3-lane section. We're committed to improving the drainage concerns that are out there for the neighbors and for the community. We want to be good stewards to the county. Some other the benefits here to the community, no hazardous materials are proposed as part of this project. We're committed to exceeding the state fire marshal's requirements for blasting. We'll establish a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week point of contact during construction for the neighbors, so if anybody has any issues with the schedule or the timing, or they have a drainage problem, happy to set that up and make sure they have somebody to call. Increased landscape buffers, we talked about. No disturbance of the existing vegetation adjacent to residential properties. Christopher mentioned the 2,000 linear feet of Couchville Pike that we would be improving, and the Underwood Road, 1,400 linear feet. Again, no trucks on Underwood Road, but just do feel like it needs to be improved for the people that use it every day. Some of the kind of bigger picture things that just want to make sure everybody's aware of, you guys know this, but obviously a big tax benefit to the county, and these commercial developments do have a low impact on schools. Big push, at the federal level to bring manufacturing back to the United States. There's going to need places to do that, and places that are in close proximity to the interstate that have commercial land use across the street, have commercial land use on a portion of this property. It makes a lot of sense to have some commercial development where these manufacturing jobs can go. We talked about the flooding. I hit on that. Increasing 25% of the storage that's on there is going to benefit everybody, including the neighbors that surround this and the people downstream. The way that the stormwater is managed today, it does what it has done for, I don't know, hundreds of years, I guess. But there are some spots where the water overtops Underwood and where it overtops Lone Oak Road. And by allowing a development to go in and make improvements, you're going to allow somebody else, the commercial developer, pay for that stuff to improve it and make it function better. So we ask for your support to allow the project to move forward and allow them, the private development dollars to pay for the flood improvements that can be realized at the site. So happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Can we start with a hard one?
Sure.
Doing an overlay on the two, the site plan and the drainage plans that you presented us, it appears that you are covering in full 3 and part of a 4th sinkhole. Well, I'm going to call it Building 2. And Christopher had concerns about ways to get around that, leave these things open. I am familiar with repairing sinkholes and injection well process. Is there other options from your owners to work around this?
Well, we are leaving the lowest sinkhole, the 2 lowest sinkholes that are on the property, so the one just north of Couchville Pike where there's 3 existing injection wells today, and we are committed to cleaning out those injection wells and improving them. And then on the west side of Underwood is really the other lowest, largest sinkhole, and we are planning to leave that. It will be improved as part of our stormwater ponds. So the 2 lowest areas of sinkhole depressions, we are leaving and improving. So the other kind of karst areas that sit up higher in elevation, they will be removed and repaired as part of the construction. But the lowest areas where the water, gravity wants to take it to the lowest spots, and so that's where we are leaving the sinkholes there to allow the water to go back subsurface in those areas.
Is there any method to know what the subterranean landscape is here? Are all these sinkholes connected? One would have to assume so, but is there a way to know that?
Well, we have Mark Herman, the geotechnical engineer, here today, and he could come up here and address that probably better than I can, if you would like him to. Yeah, you don't have X-ray vision, right? So you can't see under the ground. We generally think they are connected at some level, right? There's all kinds of underground pathways and channels that are out there, but by providing 25% more storage volume in the proposed conditions, we will be able to collect that water and keep it on the surface where we can know where it's going instead of guessing where it's going, and control it in a manner that will help everybody.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else have any more questions for Mr. Bowles right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Renfro.
In this context, you said nobody has X-ray vision. Actually, they do. They can do scans below grade, and he can speak to that. They can also core. Is it something that would be considered if this is ever approved be a cost, of course?
Yes, sir. We did.
But no X-ray and building on top is just not a good answer.
We did do geotechnical testing on the property, so we did dig test pits and do borings. And Mark, this might be an appropriate time for you to come up and talk about that and help answer some of these questions. But some of the, we can do GPR testing and those types of things, and be happy to do that.
I'm Mark Herman with TTL, and as far as what you're saying about the GPR testing and things of that sort, usually you use that kind of testing just to find where the top of rock is. It usually does not tell you any information about subsurface voids within the bedrock unit itself. And so from the geotechnical standpoint, what we do is rock cores to try to identify where voids are in the bedrock,
the different strata,
connected and things of that sort. But you got to realize that these voids are usually relatively small, and even though they're connected, it's a network that is not straight line, linear, or anything of that sort. So trying to identify them and pattern them is very, very difficult, to say the least. I would like to go back to the point about capping the sinkholes. What we typically do is try to leave all sinkholes in place and essentially fill them with an inverted filter, which is basically a geotextile with some gravel and things of that sort, because we like to try to maintain existing drainage patterns. Okay, the old manner of basically capping it with concrete and changing draining patterns, that's gone out 15, 20 years ago. And so the only sinkholes that I would see really being removed are any sinkholes that are removed by the mass grading process, where rock cuts are required. But everything else and all the other developments we've done in that general vicinity, where we had fill materials being placed placed on the sinkholes. We basically constructed inverted filters to try to leave the drainage patterns intact as they are and essentially avoid different subsurface water flow patterns.
So there would be access around the footer of the building.
Exactly.
Saying,
Exactly. So any water movement through there, it continues on. We don't plug them. We try to maintain the integrity of the throats. We try to actually clean the throats out, make sure that there's no debris or soil in them, and then lay a fabric in it and then open graded rock so that any water flow through it continues and is maintained. And so I had one other point I wanted to make. And as far as Brendan was saying about the injection wells, I mean, obviously, there's 3 on site right now. And I don't know how well they're functioning or not, but I think there's plans to add a few more injection wells into other stormwater management areas, which is great. We all know that they usually work fairly well, and so that should enhance drainage out of the detention ponds as well.
We have copies of the geotechnical reports. If anybody would like to see them, we can provide those to the commission through Christopher. But yeah, we did test pits and borings on both sides of the project.
And they did present those with their master plan packet. Those have been forwarded to our consulting engineer, and that's a very in-depth process, but that'll get hammered out more if the development moves forward.
Runoff water from this property that is not being able to leave the property via sinkhole or underground terrain, is there a place this water leaves other than?
There is, yeah. Ultimately, there's a box culvert under Couchville Pike today, and you kind of see where the 2 blue areas are connected on either side of the north side of Couchville and the south side of Couchville. Then you see that blue arrow down to the southeast. That is the ultimate overflow pattern, and then it goes under Aldi Boulevard in a culvert, and then it goes under Interstate 840 in a culvert. So eventually, when the storage volumes do get full, they do overflow through the culvert at Couchville, and then down Aldi, and then across 840. It goes back behind the truck stop over there.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Okay. At this time, we're going to open the floor for public comment. We do ask that you keep your comments to no longer than 3 minutes in length, and try to keep them not repetitive. We want to give everybody an opportunity to speak here, and we want to be conscious of your time. So at this time, I'll call for public comment. Please, when you get ready, if you would, please just come to the mic and state your name for the record, please. I do need to make one announcement that I failed to make earlier. Our court reporter was not able to be here today. Great efforts were made to find a replacement. We did not have that. Anybody who thinks their case needs to be heard or would want a transcript of what happens here today would probably need to ask for a continuance. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak. My name is Donnie Dowling, and I live at 3399 Underwood Road. So on the map, you see the right-hand section, the large section. We're just north adjoining that property. This issue has been before you several times, many times. And the last time was in July of 2023. And we will express the same concerns now as we did then, drainage and flooding. There are 2 parts to this 72-acre development. 45 acres are on the east side, the right side that you see on the map of Underwood. And our side, and so 26 acres on the other side. My daughter and I, as I explained, we live just north of this development. When it rains, water flows from north to south. It comes down north to south, and it's absorbed in one of the, I have a map from Tom Brashears, who gave me a couple years ago, and it shows 6 sinkholes on that property. And so the water is absorbed in one of those 6 sinkholes, and in heavy rains, water has gotten within 30 feet of our house. We haven't been there that long when the really bad flooding has happened, but it's gotten within 30 feet of our house. And the poor people above me and around me, they've had it worse with water up to and in their homes. So you can say what you want to about sinkholes and increasing it 25%, but there's common sense has to tell you that if you cover these sinkholes, there's simply nowhere for the water to go, for all the water to go. Flooding on the properties has to be worse. We also have, the gentleman just talked about the subterranean flow of water. There's simply no way to know how blasting, there will be blasting to build these facilities. And so when that blasting occurs, there's simply no way to know how the subterranean flow of water is going to be affected. As I said, rezoning has been before you many times in this development. And so I went back and watched the meeting of 2023. I wanted to remind, I was there, but I wanted to remind myself about what was said. The current property is currently rezoned for residential. And Tom admitted in that meeting that the land use plan allows for the east side, that side, to be a commercial development. And so in that 2023 meeting, only that right side was being considered. And Tom said under the proposed rezoning that he had concerns about draining. Not only that, but he said, I have severe concerns about the drainage and the potential for flooding if you cover the sinkholes. And he also said that the county engineer at that time recommended that not all of the sinkholes be covered. At that meeting, Jeremy Hobbs, our commissioner, and Sheriff Ash, who was there at that time, they recollected on how, in their duties with the county, on more than one occasion, they had come to that area for specific flooding. At the 2023 meeting, in a moment of honesty, the engineer that was just up here said, and I quote, this is what he said, hopefully we can address the flooding concerns, and there are no guarantees, but there are no guarantees. The man that just spoke, that's what he said then. I noticed he didn't say that this time. There's just simply no way to know accurately about the development and how it's going to affect flooding. If this rezoning is passed, it's going to be the first time you've let warehouses come north of Council Pike. North of Council Pike and west of Lone Oak, and certainly west of Underwood. And stated the current land use plan allows for commercial development west of Underwood. It does not allow it east of Underwood. Let them build all they want. The buffers that's always been Council Pike, let them build all they want south of Council Pike. In fact, there's one being built right now on Maddox Road, about a mile from our house. And I was told that the same developer on that property is the same one for this one as well. And so if you let it come north, of Council Pike, then you get into residential homes, I mean some really nice homes that could be affected by this. It's been mentioned before that we band together in our neighborhood, and so let's say we do that. We band together and we're going to market our property. So on our side of Underwood Road, the east side, there are many homes above us, many homes across the street from us, nice homes, and some really nice homes behind us on Underwood Road. And so, you know, I'm thinking, do you think they would want to look at a warehouse in their backyard or out their front yard? And so if you allow, you know, the banding together, then, I mean, where does the madness stop? Where does it stop? The natural buffer has always been Council Pike, and that's what we're asking for at this time.
Okay. You're on about 8 minutes now. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you, though, sir.
But let me finish. At the last meeting, this has always been voted down. It was voted down on an 8-2 vote then. So you've always been consistent in that, and so that's what we're asking for this time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak on this case today?
My name is Lana Lohman. That's what you guys know me by, but on the map and stuff, it's going to be Lana Christian. And Mr. Woody, my dad said he's going to call you later. So anyways, where that driveway is to the last warehouse, the one all the way down on the left, you can see the little driveway coming out of that. It's not going to be a driveway. It's going to be a major road right there, actually. My home is less than 500 feet from there. And so what my concern is you guys are making my place uninhabitable. And I've talked to the developers, and I'm asking you guys as the zoning committee, Sonia and Jeremy also, if this does get past all the levels, which Sonia had kind of explained to me, the different levels that we have to go through, I would like for you guys to go ahead and make my property, and also my neighbor's properties, commercial, where that these guys, the developers who I had talked with earlier, can buy my property also. Because I'm not going to be able to live there if it gets much worse.
Okay. There's a process you would have to go through to do that if that becomes a reality.
Well, I'm asking you guys, each one of you, as you approve this, to make sure that my property is included and the developer can buy me out also.
Well, we can't do that. You would have to make application independently for your property. We can't.
Can you help me with that?
Well, it's certainly nothing you can do today, but you could go to the planner's office and they could walk you completely through that process.
Is that Mr. Lawless?
That is Mr. Lawless.
Okay, all right. I'll see you.
And they're real nice people.
Okay, all right. And, you know, and other people, like my community and stuff, is saying that I'm selling out. I'm not selling out. I've been dealing with this for years, years. And like I was telling the environmental impact, first I had mice, rats, possums, skunks, everything. And now I'm dealing with snakes that come over to eat all that because you guys have destroyed their habitat. So, okay, is there any questions for me, anyone? Because I don't want to hear anyone say that I've sold out, because I'm not.
Okay. If you would, just make sure you address us, please. No, ma'am, we're good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you guys for doing this. Let those come and speak.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this case today? Yes, sir, please come forward.
I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again.
Don't you better mute it.
Take out 6. I left.
Hello, my name is James Davis. I live right beside, at 3421 Underwood Road, right beside where this proposed warehouse will sit. And I guess, you know, first and foremost, I want to know, like, who will be held responsible when my house floods? Like, will that be the county or will that be the developer? Because, I mean, the developer, I know they're going to tell you, oh, we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. But the county knows, I mean, y'all know there's lots of problems out there. And I can't imagine y'all think that covering up 4 sinkholes and adding 70-plus acres of asphalt is going to help this problem. Because there's no way. There's no way. You know, I have a creek on my back property. I mean, it's going right into that parking lot, this creek. This creek that I'm talking about on the back of my property, Wilson County is aware of it because they made me put a silt, when I built my shop, they made me put a silt fence up so, you know, building materials didn't get in it. So they know there's a creek bed there. Who'll be responsible when my house crumbles from excessive demolition in a rural residential area? Who'll be held responsible when my septic tank no longer works because of excessive groundwater, making my house unlivable? Another thing that's documented with the county, I had 300 feet of leach lines added 7 or 8 years ago. When we were going to first put them in this one area, my guy dug the ditches, they filled up with water. So there is groundwater out there, for sure. I had to totally move them, but I've never had any problems with that since, but still, it's a concern. The proposed warehouse, it's going to set, the loading dock is going to face my bedroom window. And I know you're talking, I heard him say something about a buffer. I really don't see a buffer. Is a chain link fence a buffer?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I just want so, you know, I don't, that's going to be, I'm going to have, you know, all night long, trucks slamming into these docks, lights glaring in through my windows, and the infrastructure out here, it can, I mean, I can only describe it as putting the cart before the horse. Like, we do not have the infrastructure for all these different warehouses. I'm sure you are familiar with Laverne or Antioch. They have a lot of warehouses. If you're not, I would say look at their crime statistics. You know, I know y'all are like, oh, 840, that was meant for warehouses. Well, why aren't they building them in Rutherford County or Williamson County? Because they're on 840. Maybe they're not trying, they're probably not trying to transplant crime is what I'm suspecting. Okay, well, the only other thing I'll say is, you know, I watched that July 2023 Planning Commission also, and, you know, 3 things stood out to me. At 10:31, Tom Prazier addresses the fact that staff has noted, just like this man said, that there are severe drainage issues. Staff has concerns of where water will go, both in terms of surface runoff and within the water table below ground once these sinkholes are capped. So in other words, capping 4 sinkholes and putting 70-plus acres of asphalt on an area knowingly has drainage issues will further exacerbate the problem. Then at 4550 of this same, I want y'all to go watch this. It's very telling. At 4550, when Brendan Bowles, I'm sorry, the engineer, he states, I, as an engineer, cannot design something that negatively affects anyone's property. That same guy at 30 seconds says, I can't promise or guarantee anything. Okay, so which one is it? But probably the most telling part of the whole, I'll leave with this. Probably the most telling part of the whole commission meeting was at 1:18 when Mayor Hutto, which he's not here today, said some property you just can't use. I mean, and I think that's where we're at. We're at property that just can't, that's not usable. You know, you're going to flood people out. You're going to flood them out. You're going to destroy their homes. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's exactly right.
Hello. My name is Julie Kirby, and my husband and I, we live on the 10 acres adjacent to the main property that's being up for rezoning today. And you guys probably remember me from the last 4 or 5 meetings actually opposing this rezoning. And I want to be clear, the one reason that I opposed the rezoning in the past meetings, was 100% flooding. It wasn't because I was against warehouses and traffic and all the things that, you know, everyone in the communities don't like, but that wasn't it for us. We were like, we understand, we live out here, there's warehouses already around us, it is what it is. It was 1,000% the flooding. And we have the 10 acres that's from Underwood to Lone Oak, and we have that runoff that comes down we get all the north runoff that comes down through us. And, we've been severely flooding since '22. Not just, oh, we have some water in our yard, or, we have standing water here or there. No, it flooded out our shop where we run our business from. It ruined a plasma cutter, it ruined some of our welding equipment. It also flooded a back cabin that my mom lived in multiple times. And recently in February, when we had all that rain, it came in and was up to the windows and all around my mom's cabin and destroyed everything in the cabin. It also got into our shop, and, mud flew in. It was really bad. We were out of town, so we weren't really even there to do a lot about it. There's my husband paddleboarding around our shop from that.
Ma'am,
So,
if you want to submit those for the record when you're done, just hand
Yeah, I
them
will.
to Thompson and he can pass them down.
8 years ago, we built a runoff pond to help mitigate with a lot of that. Now that water just doesn't flow out of that runoff pond at all. It runs the whole back area of our land, trying to get all of the water that comes from the north of our neighbors, and that's usually where. And it does come to that pond, but now it just doesn't really move out. So. Back in January, mid-January, these developers contacted us. They wrote us a letter and said they were interested in buying our property, and we were very skeptical. We get a lot of strange letters from people wanting to do that. We didn't speak to them for a while. They got in touch with us, and they were legit. We found out they were legit. Several of the other people included, were confused too. Our first questions to them were, how are you going to fix the surrounding flooding? First, how are you going to do that? Because right now it's a mess as it is. So with nothing there, no help, no drain off, what do we do? Our second question was, can you please include our neighbors into this? Because my neighbor Clint Thomas, literally cars underwater, his garage completely flooded. So they said they got a meeting together and said, yeah, we're going to include the neighbors that are affected. We're going to put together a good plan that's going to help the entire community, because right now we're in a bad spot where we are flooding, and I suppose it's probably only going to get worse with more development around. We found that kind of when Loves came in is when it really got bad for us for the flooding. So they invited us all to the meeting, talked about all of, we didn't even know who was going to be included at that point. So for the first time in all these years, we finally have someone who's going to come in and try to help us with our flooding and hopefully mitigate it for the surrounding properties. Again, I know a lot of people are upset about this. If we said no to this with our 10 acres, then our neighbors who get flooded really bad, we're not going to be included. If we say yes to this, our neighbors who are not included are super mad at us. So we're in a rock and a hard place on this. So we just had to try to figure out what to do. And in February, when we were flooded out, we said, okay, we have to go along with this. So anyway, I just want everyone to know that we thought about this a lot. We don't take it lightly. We know a lot of people are going to be upset by this because we're including in this, but we just don't know what else to do. We don't know what to do with the water. We've tried everything. So these guys have given us our first really relief in breathing and saying, wow, we might have a chance to actually not flood anymore and move our business. So anyway, that's why I have changed my position on this. I feel like these guys have went above and beyond to work with us. They've talked with all of our concerns constantly. I've been on the phone with them a lot. Hey, you guys, I'm really worried about our other neighbors, surrounding areas flooding. And they told me that they were going to present a plan today that was going to mitigate that and help us all out and be a solution for that flooding. So that's why I'm here today, in a rock and a hard space. I hate doing it, and thank you guys for taking your time to listen to me.
Ma'am. Yes, sir.
6. 3 minutes.
If that phone goes off again, I'm going to throw it.
You don't miss.
My name's James Gordon. Some of you guys know me as Monty. You might have seen the signs I put up. I live at 3325 Underwood Road. There are multiple bus stops, kids getting picked up 100 yards from where these trucks are going to be getting off and on Underwood Road. I've got a 1-year-old baby that's going to be getting on that bus in a couple years. They keep saying that they're going to prevent trucks from getting off and on Underwood Road and going through Providence and all that. They're putting signs up to prevent trucks that are leaving these areas from going that direction. But everybody knows that if you're coming eastbound on 40, you're going through Providence, down South Mount Juliet Road, Stewart's Ferry, we don't have the infrastructure for that. These roads aren't designed for big rig traffic, and putting up the signs, they're not going to read them anyway. So what's the difference? As stated previously, water flows through multiple properties north of us, across mine, then goes south across multiple properties and disappears before it gets to Couchville Pike. We all know it goes into sinkholes and into Percy Priest. Capping or manipulating those sinkholes will ultimately end up retaining water and flooding my house, shops, and chickens. And nobody here can promise me that it won't. I've worked my whole life for this. Every penny I've got has been put into my house and my shops and my property to raise a family on. We bought here intentionally because the schools are good. And doing this and flooding my house will effectively make my property completely worthless and stealing my hard work and money away from me. We're a young family and we moved here intentionally. We take care of each other and our neighbors. And everyone here this is the most friendly community I've ever been in. You can see the land use plan and see where it's intended to keep the neighborhood intact, and building and rezoning should take the citizens' opinions into account. It's clear that these plans go against all remaining citizens' opinions. Drive through the neighborhood and see this isn't a bunch of 100-acre farms. It's all 5- and 10-acre plots. It's a neighborhood, and it's being affected, and I don't appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't do the thing that you did at first, so you need to hypnotize me or whatever you do.
You promise you're going to tell us the truth?
Yeah, I am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Can I turn around and get back?
No, ma'am. You need to address us, please.
My name is Judy Toombs, for the ones that don't know me. I've lived on Underwood Road all my life. My mother and daddy bought the farm in 1942. So I want to address the sinkhole thing. As all of y'all that's lived around the Glade, there's sinkholes everywhere. And at one time during my teenage years, I had a neighbor on Fellowship Road that had a dead calf. And y'all can all laugh, this is crazy, but it's getting to a point. He put that dead calf in his sinkhole. It come up in the Glade out there on Pond Lick. At the time, we were told that all the sinkholes in the area are connected at some place underneath. When we went through a little thing with Myers Road, the people that were doing and building the houses didn't understand that it's just not the sinkholes right there. It's all of them within probably a 10-mile radius. Even the Broomshaw at Vesta is probably connected. And we know that if you fill in a sinkhole, it has a mind of its own, and at some point it's going to drop. Proof is the Corvette Company in Kentucky. Austin Peay State University has sinkholes appearing all the time in buildings, on roads, everywhere. So, thank you for doing the study, but I've got history here and I know how it goes. Now, the other problem, which has been bothering me for a long time, we now have a bridge on Stewart's Ferry that is 3-ton limit. Nobody abides by it. I was behind a truck from Lowe's that was loaded with lumber and a little whatever they unload it with, right straight across it, and I was right behind him, and I was praying, please let me get across before this bridge falls in. So signs don't do any good for truckers. We have a sign at the end of Underwood Road that says no big trucks on our road. I spent 9 hours this week mowing grass on Underwood Road by the road, and there's trailer trucks coming all the, so no matter what good intentions y'all have about telling trucks they can't go north on Underwood Road, they will go north on Underwood Road. The flooding has, I'm up on a hill. We have flooding along Suggs Creek, but anyway, what I meant to say when I was telling about the cab thing, the only thing that has changed through there with the sinkholes is that now we have Percy Priest Lake within a couple of miles of what they're wanting to do. Percy Priest Lake has its own water tower, so whatever they do here is connected to Percy Priest Lake. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Gary Whitaker, and I will start with, I do not live adjacent to this property. I do live in Wilson County, but the point that I want to make is I just retired recently from 40-plus years in banking, and during that time, I got to help put a lot of these type projects together from a standpoint of bringing the money to the table for the developer. The 3 points that I would look at with this development is, number one, there is a proven developer that knows what he's doing, that wants to be neighbor-friendly. Very rarely did I see ones that start out on the front end that took whatever the requirements were for the buffer zone and to double that. Very rarely did I see one that, when there were flooding issues, of his own decision to move from the 25-year flood zone to the 100-year. I hear a lot about the fact that the flooding is the issue. Doing nothing will continue the issue that there is today. But taking someone that is willing to use private money, millions of dollars is what developing this is going to cost, and do that out of their own pocket to try to help that situation, I would think we would want to support. Thank you,
sir. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Sonia Robinson. I live at 1824 Underwood Road. I have been out there on Underwood Road almost 40 years. I have seen it flood almost 40 years. Let's talk about quality of life. We can talk about these warehouses. We can talk about all you want, but let's talk about the safety and the quality of life for these people out here that live on Fellowship, Underwood, Lone Oak. These are farm people. Y'all know all about that. These are people that live out there, that have lived out there for years because they want to live in peace and quiet and on farmland. This is not this side in the land use plan. This has not been okayed by our Director of Planning. We are talking about sinkholes out there. You've got to have sinkholes. We've had flooding out there so long, you've got to have these sinkholes. You can't cap these sinkholes. That was stated by Tom Brashears in the meeting in 23 that y'all denied, 8-2. 34 acres. Now you're talking 72 acres on these people. You're also talking about coming down Underwood Road, right up next to people that have lived there, like me, all of our lives. You're talking about people who have, on Underwood Road, that have been run off the road, like me, by a semi-truck. Do you think the semi-truck stopped to see if I was okay when he ran me off in somebody's yard? There's no shoulders on these roads. They're small. They ran me off the road. I had nowhere to go on an S curve. Did he stop? No. He runs through fences. Are we going to take a chance on children being out in their yard with fences around it if they've already took out fences that they've left? enough of these warehouses. I have fought them for a long time out there. Now we're getting into residential roads. You're not staying on Couchville. You're coming down the roads. And I'm sorry, I don't blame these people. If I had all this, I'd move out too, probably. But you've always been there. You've never moved before, and all of a sudden now you're going to move. It's about safety. I followed a semi-truck off of Stewart's Ferry Pike that turned on. There are signs there. I helped get them up. No semi-trucks allowed. The semi-truck turned right off Stewart's Ferry Pike onto Underwood Road. I said, surely you're not. I followed him all the way past my house on Underwood, through the S-curves that he liked and not made, all the way to Couchville Pike. He turned left on Couchville Pike, went right in the Densco warehouse. He could have went 840, but the GPS is taking him to the shortest route through these small S-curve narrow roads. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say. You're not going to stop them. The signage is not going to stop them. I ask you, please, to deny this today. For safety, the quality of life for these people out here, and to make sure that nobody is killed because they're on one of these small roads back here that they do not belong on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Karen Thomas. I live at 3600 Underwood Road, part of this deal. I've heard the engineer came up here and said, we're not capping the wells, and everyone else that's come up here since then has said they're going to cap the sinkholes. He said they weren't, but everyone else that's come up here said he is. I have lived there 26 years. Why am I selling now and I haven't before? Because I didn't have a choice before. Who's going to buy that house? You all know where I live, 3600 Underwood Road. You've seen the flooding in my yard. Y'all have seen it. Who's buying that house? So we have no out but this. And with this plan, I will say, these builders have been very accommodating to the neighborhood and listening to other people. I hear a lot of people up here saying, I flood. There was one man who said, water got 30 feet from my house. Well, sir, I don't know if you've seen my house, but
If you would, please address us.
30 feet is, it's in my house. So this is a thing. I think there's a lot of people on the other end of the road that are upset about this, which I do understand. It is warehouses. My husband was a commissioner. He fought the same thing. We fought against it until this plan came along that included the other side of the road. So I just want to clarify, sinkhole's not being capped, and why we're choosing to sell now. And thank you all for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Please come forward. I'm sorry, I'll get you next, ma'am.
I'll stand over here. Thank you.
My name is Darren Sadlowski. This is Wesley. I have an 8-month-old home named Waylon. He is 5th generation on a 40-acre farm just north of this. Just a couple of concerns. I'm a little under the weather, so sorry. We did start a petition. I have all those signatures if you guys want to see them. I think we're at 112, I believe. 117, sorry. Did have to pay for that, so we're out of pocket as well. I know other people, the signs, we greatly appreciate. We don't have the millions of dollars, but we're doing what we can. We also have concern for blasting. We just built a house, moved in September, did it all out of pocket, did it ourselves. I hope if this goes through that y'all make their lives hell like the county made ours hell, because we fought and fought and fought, and we finally got it passed before our 8-month-old was born. My in-laws' chimney on their house is about 6 inches off the house from blasting. Foundation cracks in all the houses on the property, and now we have a spring that has busted open in our garden, essentially flooding the top half of it. We can only assume it's from the blasting. My chickens were in a pool of water this week, so we had to move that coop. It is a concern. I don't know if any of you have been up Underwood, but there's 2 90-degree turns. I work in trucking. I have for almost, 8 years or so. It's hard to get an F-150 and a flatbed trailer through there, let alone a T880 International with a 53-foot anything. It was a struggle getting things delivered for our house. So we also have, last thing, we have a natural pond on our property, and blasting has opened it up, and it was dry last time I was back there. Everything we're pushing from the lake north is coming to our property because we're on the pipeline. It's a natural highway for turkeys, deer, foxes, coyotes, everything you could think of. That pond is part of their sustenance, I guess you could say, their food, their water. It is now completely dry. From a sinkhole or well or whatever that is open from the blasting. So say whatever we want about the ones that are currently, what are we going to do about the ones that are forthcoming? Also, my house is only 8 months old. I also have a concern when this blasting takes place. My footer is actually exposed. Hold on, baby. My footer is actually exposed because we're on top of rock. We couldn't go down, we had to go up. So when they blast the rock that my house is sitting on and it crumbles, are they going to build me a new house for me and my boys and my wife? Or would the county do that? Because I put a lot of money into the county to build my house. There's a $5,000 impact fee. What's the impact fee for 73 acres of asphalt?
It's substantive, but that's not the
I guarantee you that it's not going to be the same percentage that I paid. So take these things into concern. My boys don't want warehouses in their backyards. We are green belted as well. We're not a century farm, but we're green belted. So please take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Miles.
Good morning. My name is Danielle Gordon. I live at 3325 Underwood Road. I will try and keep this short. I did not know about the 3 minutes till I got here. So we could talk about flooding all day. I am acknowledging my house is flooded 3 times. What I will say on that is any developer or individual who claims they can fully guarantee the impact of building over major sinkholes, which we can see there's buildings over major sinkholes, at this location is making a promise that simply can't be substantiated. Given the known water flow patterns and number of homes and residents potentially affected, the risks are too significant and unpredictable to confidently approve. We're going to talk about zoning. So this is from the zoning ordinance that's readopted as modified effective date January 17th, 2003, last revision December 16th, 2024, so just this December. Under C4 Plan Commercial, it says, Plan Commercial Zone is intended for a unified grouping of commercial buildings. It is the objective of this zone to achieve the highest quality site design, building arrangement, landscaping, and traffic circulation patterns patterns possible while providing locations for commercial sales catering to a community or regional market. Under uses permitted, it says it is the intent of this zone to facilitate potential development by allowing a range of retail, commercial, and office uses. In general, uses permitted shall include offices, commercial sales, light manufacturing and assembly, and distribution centers associated therewith. And then it talks about you could put an amusement park, which, yeah, that would be great. So when we're talking about zoning, this proposed development that we're looking at right here has parking for 1,254 vehicles, nearly 500 of which of these are trucks. That scale is completely misaligned with the intended use of C4 zoning, which is meant for uses catering to a community or regional market. C4 zoning is designed to support offices, commercial sales, light manufacturing, and assembly or distribution centers associated with those uses, meaning any distribution activity should be clearly tied to local business operations, not standalone interstate shipping warehouses. What's being proposed is not in line with this intent. The site layout and scale suggest a large-scale interstate shipping warehouse, which aligns much more closely with I-1 or light industrial zoning. That zoning category specifically lists warehousing, processing, packaging, and large-scale distribution as primary uses. To be clear, warehouse as a standalone intended use is only mentioned under I-1 zoning, not C4 in the zoning ordinance. An appropriate example for C4 might be a regional business park with offices, a showroom, some localized product assembly or packaging, operations that clearly serve the community or region, not national logistics networks. In short, this proposed use does not fit the limitations of C4 zoning, and the application probably should fall under I-1. I want to talk about the land use plan. This is the land use plan that was approved in 2006. This is regarding the SR 840 and Couchville Pike interchange and speedway recommendation. I'll go ahead and read this. The area along Couchville Pike at S 840 interchange could serve the county well as a commercial services for the traveling public as well as office parks. Due to the improved utilities and the existing local services, the addition of commercial services such as restaurants, hotels, planned office, and retail services could be accommodated within the existing infrastructure. A small projected village center at the Couchville Pike interchange would keep the focus on meeting the needs of the immediate community and traveling public without allowing more services to spread along Couchville Pike. Then it talks about an entertainment center at the Speedway. Again, big fan. Realignment of select local roads may improve future traffic flow. Citizen input and participation in decision-making in this area is essential. I want us to consider some semantics here. There's a lot of words like could and should consider. The clear intent of this recommendation is to keep development focused on meeting the needs of the immediate community and traveling public, not to pave the way for massive trucking facilities or interstate shipping warehouses. The document aligns appropriate uses like restaurants, hotels, planned office parks, retail services. These are local serving developments, not large-scale logistics subs. Does mention maintaining some flexibility for selective industrial development, only if it exceeds minimum requirements and complements other development. The language makes it clear. Industrial development here is not the priority and certainly not the default. And we remember that it says citizen input and participation in decision-making is essential. So this is the document from the land use plan. Let me put it. So this is the small 34 acres that we're talking about that is slated for commercial/retail development. That's buffer zone above that. Everything that's in white, which is part of this plan, is for existing low-density residential and farmland to remain. The last part of the land use plan is the summary. I'll read that real quick. This is a good reminder for us. It talks a lot about the growth, population, the vision for Wilson County. There is a citizen comment about we don't want to be another Williamson County. If we wanted that, we want to move there. It says, that quote underscores a strong desire to protect Wilson County's distinct identity and avoid overdevelopment. The last part of the plan says, we anticipate that this plan will remain flexible and continue to evolve in response to current issues while at the same time remaining close to the intended patterns. It encourages flexibility and responding to evolving needs, but explicitly states that this flexibility should remain aligned with the intended growth patterns. The proposed development that we're talking about today disregards the framework of that plan. It is not aligned, and it strays significantly from these patterns. It obviously fails to consider the disproportionate impact on the residents that are already living in this area. The last line of the land use plan in the concluding summary says, "The most relevant input is, and always will be, from the citizens of Wilson County for whom this report has been produced." Thank you.
Please.
My name is Darren Dixon. I live at 3662 Underwood Road, and I just want to say thank you guys for just listening, and you all have a really difficult job to listen and make decisions, and I appreciate that. I'm a licensed contractor myself in residential, commercial, and industrial, and so I know a little bit about what's going on, and when we're looking at this plan, when I talked with, I'm one of my lots, it's a part of the development. And when we were negotiating a deal with me, I had questions, and their willingness to work with me and talk with me and answer those questions, because to me, my property doesn't matter. I mean, my house is at the very back. Even at the 500 or 1,000-year flood in 2010, where my house is now, it was dry. So it's like, for me, it doesn't affect my property. And so, however, my neighbor, Clint, and the other ones, it's like when this water comes down, it's kind of scary the way it is today. And like someone else mentioned, maybe the engineer says, we already have a problem, and who's going to fix the problem? I'm like, being a construction guy, I go in, I said, what's your problem? Let's come up with a solution for it. Right now, we already have a problem. There's flooding, and they're talking about capping the sinkholes. Well, the geotech professional said, we're not going to cap it. We're going to put a filter on it. So we're not getting rid of any of those. I mean, they're still going to be effective, and they're all connected anyway. So if you're leaving the ones that they said they're going to leave, without the filter on top, it's still going to go, because they're all connected. It's just like a big bathtub with 4 or 5 drains in it. If you put a filter on one drain, it's still going to go. It's not going to drain as fast, but the other ones are going to take it too. But it's like, this is a multi-million-dollar solution for this land. And the only way this flooding has a chance of getting better is if someone has those retention ponds and something to collect it when all this water comes in. And a concerned neighbor said, well, about all this blacktop, what is it going to do? You can't tell me it's not going to affect something. Well, that land's rock. It won't perk. I mean, it's really close to blacktop the way it is right now. I mean, it has not very much of an absorption rate when you have heavy water coming in. But these retention ponds, I looked at them, some of them are 20 feet deep. I mean, they're massive. And for this company to care about our community enough to go beyond what's required to make it better for the neighbors, they should be saying thank you. I'm talking about the flooding issue. We've already got warehouses, so I'm not really going to talk about having warehouses in the area. There's already warehouses across the street. You already hear the beeping. You already hear we're already there. But in order to help protect the neighborhood and the people around it, we're going to have something to do with that water until it can dissipate and go somewhere. And right now, there's nothing. If we say no to this, people are talking about their property, that they're scared that it might be damaged or whatever. Well, Clint's, what's he going to do with his property and his neighbor on the other side, Mr. Bible? It's like Tony. Tony when a flood, he took his fishing boat out there, took a finder, and it was like 20 or 30 feet down. at his lowest spots. The beauty about this is they're actually going to make it so they can control the water and keep it where it needs to be in a safe manner. And the roads and the traffic on Underwood, this development company is offered to widen the road, and that's not even for them, that's for the community. Because the roads, the main entrance to these warehouses are through Couchville. They said in the plans that those little driveways that go out on Lone Oak and Underwood, they're going to be gated with one of those security lock boxes, so only the fire company can get in and unlock it. So it's not like people are going to be going in and out. So there's no additional traffic on Underwood. So I just want you guys to consider how it can help the community and really solve some issues. And I know this is a passionate thing, but this is different than the time it came back before, because now we have so much more. We have Clint's land and Tony's land that is going to have the largest retention pond right there. And before, it didn't have that. And it may not have been a good deal before, but now I think it is a good deal because of all that extra retention work. And someone else mentioned earlier about who's going to pay for my house. Well, if the blasting or something like that happens to it with the foundations, well, I'm a general contractor and I have so much insurance. I've got insurance for other people that don't have insurance, and everybody I use has this insurance. And I have a huge general liability insurance. So if anything happens through my subcontractors and it gets past them, it gets to me before it gets to the client. So with all this deal, people want to know, well, what's going to happen? Well, talk to their insurance company. If there's something happening, blasting that goes on, that's why they have insurance. And then they probably didn't want me to say that out loud. But the reality is that's why they make insurance. And so I want to take away a lot of the fear of the people of the unknowns. You know, these are professionals, man. They know how to, the geotech guys, they know how to get in there. They know how to do things right. And I don't know about the other warehouses that were done, and if they had the same geotech guys or if they had the same attitude as these guys. They're doing things above and beyond in so many different ways. And I spoke with them before this, and they said, look, we've done everything they've asked us to do, and we've done more. I mean, they've already got hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in this and the chance to do this. So anyway, to keep from rambling, I appreciate you guys, and thank you for listening to us. And I hope that you'll vote for this. I think it'll be good for the community. And for me, you know, if this goes through, I'm out, you know, so it's not me. But
thank you.
But looking at everything, I think that this is a good solution for everything. It's good for the people involved in it. I think it's good for but even if the deal doesn't go through, that's still zoned for C2. You may not get a developer that buys that C2 that doesn't have one of these rezoning meetings, that may not be as nice and have as many retention ponds as these guys. So if they say no to this, it may be worse, and there's no control that anybody can do about it. Right now, they can turn Clint's land and Tony's land into a retention pond. But if this does not go through, then that might not even happen, and it might be worse. So it's like, be careful, neighbors. This might be your silver ticket to get this multi-million-dollar problem fixed, or at least improved. But if this doesn't go through, it's already C2, it's already zoned for C2, and somebody might come and it might not have the resources to fix it, and it might be worse.
Thank you, sir. You can come on up. We'll get you in just a second, sir. You're fine.
Okay. Hey, good morning. My name's Ricky Haynes. I used to live in the community. I bought some land out on North Lamar Road back in 1994, built a home out there, lived in the community for 22 years, and I'm here representing the Garvin and Orange family that's They own the 35 acres that we're talking about today. Unfortunately, Miss Orange, she just had hip replacement surgery. She's in rehab at the moment. Miss Garvin is under the weather, and but Miss Garvin's daughter, she resides in Texas currently, but she spends about a half a year up here. But right now, she's still currently in Texas. So I just wanted to be here and read this letter for her. She says, "My name is Cynthia Sanchez. Some members of the community along Couchville Pike may remember me as Cindy Garvin. My parents are Houston and Brenda Garvin. My aunt is Mary Orange. Like my parents and my aunt and my grandparents before them, Brewston and Mattie Sue Taylor, I was born and raised on Couchville Pike. My grandparents have been gone for many years. My dad recently passed, but my mother, Brenda, still lives on Couchville Pike in the home where I grew up. I consider this community my home, and while I do not live there full-time in the community anymore, I've been fortunate over the past several years to spend 4 to 6 months out of the year there with my parents at our family home on Couchville Pike. The idea of selling the family property has been filled with much emotion, and it's been in our family for such a long time. It's been our home. My mother will still be living in the original home. We have family living close by. So we were very selective in choosing a buyer. I know just getting off the script here for a minute, I know there's been a lot mentioned this morning about that meeting back in 2023. Understand this is a different developer. And there was a lot that went into I'll call it the interview process. There's a lot of people that are looking for a land grab and to make a quick buck, okay? So they had them coming at them. They had them knocking on their doors, leaving packages on the front porch. They wanted that property, right? But a lot of consideration, a lot of due diligence went into them deciding on First Industrial to take over and to be the stewards of this land that they've been stewards of for who knows how many years now. That farm, that area has been in their family forever. So there was a lot of thought put into this. So this project is totally different developer than 2023. So just understand that. This is a totally different deal, okay? All right. We wanted to ensure that the buyer of the property would take into consideration just not the needs of the project, but also prioritize community concerns, help fund efforts to address those concerns, and meet all the requests of the county in order to meet current infrastructure requirements. While it's difficult for some to embrace the commercial and industrial development that has already occurred in the community, it seems clear at this point, based upon development plans, future development is moving ahead at a pretty rapid pace. I understand this development has potential to strengthen the local economy as it brings in tax dollars, provides jobs, but it's still hard when changing the landscape of the community. When the county structurally realigned Couchville Pike, Maddox Road, they laid in the city water, the water for the sewer and for commercial use. At that point, multiple parcels of land in the community had been rezoned to date, and recently 2 properties, one next to the property at Lone Oak and Maddox, were rezoned. We're only asking for the same consideration in the rezoning process. Our family has a long history in the community. My grandparents, parents, aunt, uncle were tremendous supporters of the community and generous neighbors to all of those who knew them. The face of the community has changed tremendously over the past 20 to 30 years as the master development for the I-40 Couchville Pike exit has unfolded. I'm sure it will continue to evolve as progress pushes forward. While this letter is brief, I hope it brings to light a little of the heart and the intent in our rezoning request. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Cynthia Sanchez. She really wanted to be here today. Family's had a lot. Her husband had to have eye surgery, so she's at home with him and could not make the flight up here for this. But like I said, I got to know these people when I lived in the community. I met them. We went to church together at the Fellowship Baptist Church. Mr. Garvin sang in the choir, and Brenda played the organ there at the church, right? Good people. I've known them for a long time, and they are very pleased. The family is very pleased to have partnered with First Industrial on this, and they feel comfortable hopefully passing this along and allowing them to be the stewards of this property and help the community and some of these concerns that are brought up this morning. The flooding concern seems to be the main one, and if we do nothing, but y'all have got a tough decision, you do. But I think there's a lot more people to speak, and there's probably people with a higher pay grade than me that's going to be able to give you some information that I can't. But everything I've seen so far looks like it's a win-win for everybody out there. So appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Please come forward now.
Hey, Woody, let's leave.
My name is Mike Lutz. I live on Nice Road. I own property on Lone Oak, Underwood. Hey, has anybody took in consideration the 66 acres y'all approved for the water runoff with it? And then this another acreage. What we're going to do, put a swimming pool down there or something for us to swim across? I've seen pickup trucks floating down there on Underwood. I know it's nice to have filters and stuff like that, buffers. What kind of filters? What about our drinking water? Does anybody think about that? What we're drinking? Oil, diesel, fuel running off cars and trucks? I noticed lately my Glavel water, they must be adding a lot more chlorine in it. You have to filter and filter. I guess everybody's going to be drinking bottled water. But I've had, when they built Chewy, you got a runoff pond in front there. Hey, I'll be at my pool in the evenings at 3 o'clock every day. The rocking chairs will be rocking when they start blasting. Hey, that's nice. Well, that one guy said we had a lot of insurance and stuff. Try to claim insurance. Hey, I was here when they built 840. I'm on a slab. My house is all masonry, rock. I'm a contractor. I know how insurance works. You make a claim, they look at you, oh, that didn't cause it. I've been there. I know how it is. But, like I say, a lot of this water is coming off of me. Me and my brother about 70 acres on Nice Road and Lone Oak. And there's a sink. My place is full of sinkholes. And there's a lot of sinkholes right behind a girl on Nice Road there. It goes, when it goes down there where they're at. So that's about all I got to say. I just hope y'all do the right thing. But like I say, just take into consideration, build that other warehouse 66 acres first and see what the water's going to do. Or we're going to combine them both at the same time and flood it and see what happens. What about Vesta Road? Have they done anything on it yet? Where's all that water going? I know a boy works at the truck stop. Don't work, but he drives truck. He said that people over at truck stop, they defecate out in the parking lots, the truck drivers. What do you think all that stuff's going to our water department? We're drinking all that stuff. Just take into consideration. You know what filters do? You got to change a filter and change it all the time. Is this filter going to catch gravel, cigarette butts? Diesel fuel? I had a guy told me if you go at the lake after a lot of these rains, you'll see a oil slick over there, which is probably true. You just have to go look for yourself. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm going to get you next, ma'am. No, you go ahead, buddy.
My family
Could you tell us your name, please?
Yes, sir. I'm Titus Quinn. My family lives on 3125 Underwood Road, and when you're filling in the sinkholes, it will make when you're blasting and filling up the sinkholes, it'll make our house or it'll make everything in a 1 mile radius be flooded, and our house will be flooded because of that. Also, there'll be like semis, and our family will have a lot more. It will be a lot more dangerous, and it won't be as it will be just the worst quality of life.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good job, Mr. Quinn.
Yes, ma'am.
Good job,
Hi, my name is Lori Payne. I don't live adjacent to this property. I probably live approximately a mile away from it, but it does affect our home. We live off Rockdale Fellowship, and the sinkholes, believe it or not, that water pops up everywhere. All you gotta do is go down to Lacey's, and Lacey's floods. That intersection floods, and that happens because the water goes into those sinkholes and then it pops up in other areas of where the water comes out. You know, I've chased down people that have ran through the intersections down there and hit and runs and chased them all the way into Smyrna while the cops catch up to the person for hit and runs and killing people. There was a man and his daughter killed at that intersection due to all of the traffic that's caused by all these Gracent cement and blacktop buildings that you guys keep allowing to be built out here. You know, our lives and our community matters. Those are people's family members that are dying from all this traffic that are out there. I've got great, wonderful pictures. This is a semi-truck, too, trying to go down our road. It doesn't work. You can put signs up that say no semi-trucks. You can put a picture on it with no semi-trucks. I don't care. You're going to have to put up Spanish, Arabic, Asian, every language under God's green earth, because that's what we have driving these semi-trucks. There was one. He went down to McQuarrie. He didn't know how to back up. I don't know. I don't have reverse. How do you not know how to reverse a semi-truck if you're backing up to a loading dock? What are you doing driving a semi-truck? Why do we have these people out here on our roads? We have children that are playing. One guy almost hit me while I was at my mailbox, coming around the corners way too fast. He spun out and went right up on my neighbor's yard. Then he got up, got out of the yard, managed to start driving up, and I'm like, this, slow down. He just revved it up and kept on going. They don't care about us. So if you guys don't care about the people that pay taxes, that live out here, and then to top that off, I grew up in construction. My dad owned a big, huge construction company in another state, and my brothers operate it to this day. But diesel fuel, oil, all of that penetrates into the blacktop, runs off, goes into the Gladeville water system. We already have Folsom Prison water out here. It's not like it's the greatest water. Our animals drink it, we bathe in it. Guaranteed, we'll probably have cancer from it.
Well, we're speculating.
Well, exactly. I have a dog. Born and raised right out here in the Glade.
So
7 years, no, my dog. Yeah, but I'm just saying, my dog.
Path right now.
Well, no, I'm just saying, the concerns are, you let diesel fuel and oil and that DEF, have you looked at the chemicals in the DEF that they're putting in diesel fuel now? Pull up a chemical chart. It's cancer causing. And that's what they're putting in semis nowadays. So, you know, they tell you to wear gloves when you're putting it into your vehicle. So, you know, along with all of that, then we still have the issue of the semi-trucks, and here, let me think, I'm losing something out. Oh, a lot. I'm just trying to remember it all. So, the accidents. The sheriff was here the last time I was here in 2023. He was supposed to pull up accident reports. Did anybody ever pull up the accident reports and get those for all of us?
I have no idea, ma'am. I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Well, that's the other thing, you know, they don't care. We get all the people from Laverne, Antioch, and everything coming down Rockdale Fellowship Road to Couchville, and Couchville and on up. Me and my husband were taking one of my dogs out to the vets to be put to sleep for an emergency, and they tried to pass us on Rockdale Fellowship, so we turned on Couchville Pike to come up to 840, and as we're getting up to where the last warehouse on Couchville Pike is now, because you guys keep allowing them to keep being built out there, for how much further, I'm not sure. Hopefully if you guys approve this one, it's the last one you guys approve. So, but anyways, he went to go around us, and there was a guy turning in the turn lane to go into the warehouse to the left, and then there was another car coming down. So you got me, a person turning in the turn lane, and another car coming. He decided he's going to pass all of us. Well, that could have been a major accident. It could have killed the person sitting in the turn lane, the person coming down Couchville Pike heading towards Lacey's, and me and my husband could have been involved in that accident because of one person that decides they don't want to wait because everybody else is doing the speed limit. None of them want to do the speed limit. It's 35, 40 miles an hour out there. How would you guys like it if your kids were killed, your husband was killed, your wife was killed, your grandchild was killed, injured? That's what we have to deal with every single day living out there. Every day. As we pull off our driveway, that's what we have to worry about. You guys do nothing about the intersection off Couchville Pike and 840.
In fairness, ma'am, that has nothing, we have no control over roads, traffic.
Well, you do too. You're gonna allow
Directly, what's there is there, we can't control.
Exactly, but my point to the being is, you want to allow another warehouse to be built that's going to house at least another 300-400, I don't appreciate your eyes there, ma'am, the way you're batting them, but whatever. Another 300-400 people being employed out there, then, that allows traffic for getting on and off Couchville Pike and 840. And then on top of that, you got the lot lizards over at Love's Truck Stop. You know what lot lizards are? Any of you know what lot lizards are? That man there knows what a lot lizard are. Do you know what a lot lizard is? And do you know what a lot lizard is?
Personal experience.
No, you don't? Well, then maybe you should go down there. We've got kids out there. We've got kids out there. Lot lizards are people that go from truck to truck, ma'am. I'll enlighten your history a little bit. That's what a lot lizard is. That's what we.
It's time for us to move on, ma'am.
Well, I'm just saying, it gets graphic, but we have to live out there. That's our community. We live in that. And you guys want to allow more semi-trucks.
Thank you.
I'm going home.
Please come forward.
My name is Teresa Burgess Hilton. I live on Burgess Road. I just want to say a couple of my experiences with traffic on Couchville Pike. Where Aldi Boulevard comes across, it's been flashing for a long time, and before they put in the actual traffic lights, while it was still flashing, I come out of Underwood Road and turn left, and I was coming upon that intersection, and there was a truck that had pulled out, and there was a car underneath the truck that probably couldn't stop. The trucks pull out there, went up under the truck, and it took off the whole roof of the car. I feel like somebody had to die in that, but be that as it may, it's so sad. But now that they've put up a light there that has actual red, yellow, and green, those trucks that pull out of Aldi Boulevard, they never stop. Even if they have the red light, they still continue to turn right. Now, if I'm coming around that curve doing 40 and the road is wet, which just happened to me, and those trucks are turning right, I had to go into the oncoming traffic to miss it because they continue to turn right. They just don't ever stop because it's right on red, I just wanted to tell those experiences. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Can I request the chair? Can y'all put that back to the last slide that was on before?
That?
The one that the developer, yes, that one right there.
All right, thank you.
I guess since we were talking about pets real quick, just for the record, I have 4 dogs that are for this, okay? So, and also, I don't really have any cool cow stories, although that's kind of scary. But I did get a bottle one time out of my sinkhole in the back after the rain, and it had a note in it from this family in Wisconsin wanting me to write them back and whatnot. So, okay. But my name's Clint Thomas, and I do live at Underwood Road. If you look at the proposed map right there, the very darkest part of the blue, where the where the drainage and whatnot is, that's my house. So I'm the one that you drive, when y'all do drive from the other side of Underwood, down Underwood, I'm the one that's got the lake right there in my house. And again,
If you would, please address us, Mr. Thomas.
well, I was kind of.
I understand.
I was showing the map, which kind of good. So anyway, but again, I'm Clint Thomas. I want to give reference to that. I live at 3600 Underwood Road. So good morning. I guess now it's afternoon, almost afternoon. Chair, fellow planning commissioners, fellow community members, and neighbors. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today on this requested rezoning of the Garvin Orange property and the Underwood Road properties that are adjacent to this. Let me start by saying I don't envy the position that any of you guys are in. I've been there. As a former county commissioner, I know it's hard to weigh complex decisions that will inevitably affect people's lives, livelihoods, and their land. Having now been on both sides of this process, I can say with confidence that this proposal before you today is not like the previous ones, not like the ones that we've been fighting it since I was a commissioner. This is totally different, totally different. This time, this proposal is not just another round of concepts, renderings, or assumptions. This time, they are real, tangible solutions on the table for these problems. Solutions to long-standing, deeply personal issues, solutions that directly reduce and remove the burden of 10 households that are directly affected. Now, there are some that you've heard today that are indirectly affected, but we are directly affected by this every day. And these households, these 10, for the most part, have been the heart of the opposition from the very beginning of this. It moves beyond conversation and into meaningful action. And that's key, because this opposition was never about obstruction. It was grounded in reality. These 10 households that form a crescent shape to the Garvin Orange property that's in close proximity to this site. And we have long suffered the consequences of upstream decisions, flooding, environmental runoff, property stress, and the emotional toll of living with constant uncertainty. But that is exactly what this proposal addresses. The developer was challenged last time by this commission and our local officials, and our county commissioner as well, to work with the community and bring something back better. They've done that. This proposal now includes the voluntary purchase of those homes that are directly affected, taking those residents out of harm's way and giving them a path to move forward. This is not a change in design. It is a change in philosophy. And you've heard some others talk about that as well. It's a solution that reduces and removes the direct impact of those most vulnerable. That alone should carry significant weight in your decision. In fact, one of the things I learned from my tenure is you'll never be able to please everyone. But sometimes, if you are fortunate, a truly rare opportunity presents itself, one that balances interests and provides a clear win-win for the people involved. Today, you're looking at one of those opportunities. Approving this proposal means, first, you help mitigate past development decisions. Those tied to the construction and the, making of Percy Priest Lake, the 840, Highway 840, and decades of commercial and residential growth in the Gladeville area. Those decisions created the current situation, for better or for worse. And while we can't undo the past, we can make thoughtful decisions now to address these concerns and these consequences. Number two, you follow through with the requests. Again, I also recall from some of the past rezoning meetings, members have said, this proposal needs changes before it's ready to be considered. That's exactly what has happened. The scope has evolved. The conditions that have been placed on have been met. Another member also said, alluding to this development, it's not ready today, but maybe someday. Well, with the improvements now in place, today is that day. And number three, you generate significant tax revenues. To put this into perspective, I believe it's a 330,000 square foot warehouse could generate upwards of $250,000 in annual tax revenue. That's revenue that otherwise has to be made up by increasing property tax on individual homes. which I know none of us want. This proposal helps prevent that. It's not just good business sense, it's responsible governance. Briefly, I would like to address the issue of the county growth plan. Yes, it's true this parcel is currently not in the designated area, but let's not ignore the obvious. The current growth plan was last updated in 2006. That's nearly 20 years ago. The needs of this county have changed dramatically since then. And I think that's no argument there. And it is widely expected that the next version of this growth map will absolutely include this corridor in proposals like this one. We're not proposing something radical. We're simply aligning with the direction that Wilson County is already heading. And more importantly, this area specifically is headed, has been headed, and will continue to do so. And let's be honest, this wouldn't be the first time a project has been approved outside the growth plan designation. I've seen many. Precedent does exist. It's not uncommon, and in this case, it's entirely justified, given the clear economic benefits, the infrastructure already in place, the resolution it brings to the residents directly affected. This location, this stretch of land was set up for this. That's why the state invested in this infrastructure. That's why 840 was built right where it was. That's why development keeps circling back here, because it makes sense. You have the 3 major interstates, you have an international airport nearby, and the growing demand from business and residents alike. So in summary, this proposal directly helps 10 households who have waited far too long for relief. It aligns with the true intent of how this area was meant to be leveraged, using the infrastructure investments, and takes advantage of the infrastructure we already have, the interstates and the airport that I had mentioned. And it provides a broader benefit to Wilson Countyans by boosting local tax base, easing that pressure of homeowners who are already feeling the bite of rising property taxes. So today, I ask you just to consider the proposal. Not just to consider it, but to recognize the opportunity here in front of you. This is not a repeat of the past. It's a responsible, revised proposal that meets your prior requests. It resolves key issues, and it helps our county move forward. Please seize this opportunity and support the rezoning request. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for this presenter. To save time.
Yes, sir.
Because I know you like me to save time. So.
Sorry, I went a little bit long.
Now, Mr. Thomas, I need to understand, and this is not a court of law, so you can answer or not, okay? Well, you already sworn in to our chairman, so you're fine.
Can I have counsel?
What, he's right back there. What's important for me to understand is longevity and history. And
yes,
do you live there?
I do, 3,600. Like I said, my house.
Yeah, you got the biggest sinkhole, so that's great. And how long have you been there?
26 years.
26 years. Were you aware of the sinkhole when you bought it?
I was actually told that the sinkhole, due to flooding, I was told it does get water. It doesn't get up to where it got where I was at the time, but that it was what it was dug around in the back was a self-dug detention pond so that it wouldn't get into the garage.
At what point, in your own estimation, did the flooding change? Worse, better, whatever?
Oh, it didn't change.
So it's been the same?
It's been roughly the same, yes, yes.
In your 26 years. Thank you, sir. You answered my questions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Please come forward.
Steve Banks. I live at 424 Burgess Road. I'm basically on the last, to the north of that plan. One of the sinkholes in the site plan is just across the road from me, and I have a rather large sinkhole on my land that it floods. Kind of was leading to this guy's question. I don't fault the neighbors selling. That's their way out. I don't fault First Industrial. That's what their job is. We do a lot of warehouses. I do construction work. I'm in it to make money. They are too. But I bought residential land. I knew I had a sinkhole when I bought it. I knew it flooded. I've lived in Gladeville since 1975, 4 miles from where I live now. I've lived where I am now, I think 20 years. But I knew when I bought it, it flooded. It's rough land. I got 45 acres. And if I known that I could zone it commercial, I would apply right now. I think everybody down Underwood Road would rather have their land zoned commercial. It'd be worth more money. But I knew when I bought it, I would either have to sell it as residential or agricultural. If it's this easy to rezone, when we all bought residential, we knew the sinkholes were there. I understand these people. I know Tony, Clint, all of them down through there. They flood. It's always flooded. If First Industrial wanted to do something, build all that land up, build them new houses, just leave it residential, build a warehouse somewhere. I mean, there's other solutions besides commercial development. It's a lot of money, but that's just what it is. That's part of owning the land in Gladeville. Everybody, it's rock, it's rough land. My whole street, most of it wouldn't perk for a 2-bedroom. We lucked out and got a 5-bedroom site out of 1 square. But the flooding is one of the main things. If they're saying they're going up there, that they're going to redo Underwood Road. Well, if there's no trucks going down Underwood, they're saying, why should you redo Underwood Road? Back when I grew up, the road was gravel. It's tar and chip. They paved over the tar and chip. There's no shoulders. I got hit this year in the snow going down it. But if they're going to improve it, then they must be expecting traffic going in there. There's no way to prevent it. There's no way to prevent the flooding down on Vesta roads, the warehouses. And believe me, I'm all for development. I'm in the commercial construction, but it's not the lot to build on. It's been turned down once. They say the development's different. Yeah, it's different. They're building 2 more warehouses. That's the biggest change in taking more land. They can say, and it may work what they're doing. I know them. They'll probably try to do the best they can, but like this, there's no guarantee. It's a residential area. That's where I bought to live. Been there my whole life. That's all I got to say. Thanks.
Thank you. I'll get you in just a minute, mate. Yes, sir.
My name is Corey Richardson. I'm the Senior Regional Director for First Industrial. I would love to have been able to speak last, but I have a child graduating from high school in about 3 hours, and I'm 4 hours away. So I'm going to jump in if I can. Wow, a myriad of conversation today, and I'm not deaf or blind to the opposition. I understand it. I can't help lot lizards and diesel and water and things that I'm not sure that we were asked to bring or discuss today. But I can say that we were asked by the community and some municipal officials to bring together a plan that previously didn't have any buy-in from those persons to have their buy-in. I have no guarantees in life. So whether we're being recorded or not, I can't guarantee that anything's going to occur. And if you're looking for a guarantee, I don't think this is the right forum or the right place. What I do know is Mother Nature's undefeated. It's going to keep on raining. It's going to keep on flooding. We cannot buy this land and would not buy this land and be able to fund these remediation plans without the ability to derive revenue from it. One thing that I was not really aware of was the vehement plans relative to Underwood Road. To someone who stated earlier, why are we improving the road if we don't think trucks are going down it? We're doing it because we're required to do it, on top of the fact it's the right thing to do. However, I would put forth, which has not been discussed in this forum, that we're glad to add speed bumps to that road to room any truck that ever wants to come down it again. Period. At our cost. May or may not change your opinion. We're here to find a solution. We're not here to debate whether or not we're going to stop water from ending up in another county. I can't address everyone's issues, and I wasn't brought here to do that. But I was brought here to partner on a creative and collaborative plan with those people impacted. Our engineers have brought forth the concept about karst and sinkholes. Again, we're not planning on covering them up. Yes, they will be covered, but they will still be operational. I'm not going to speak to that. I went to liberal arts and barely graduated. The smart guys can figure that out. But this is a different plan. And the Planning Commission meeting from 2023 is not on trial here. I'm not on trial here. Neither are any of the constituents on trial here. We're efforting to bring forth a plan that we're willing to privately fund that will eradicate a problem that will not only fix the 12 stakeholders today, it will fix the problem going forward. And when I use the word fix, I don't want that to be construed differently. Humanly possible, this plan is the best plan that has been presented. No one has come before you has ever attempted to resolve the matter. They've attempted to to affect the side effects of the water once it's there. If you ask where the sinkholes are, everything up there that's blue is your new sinkhole. And it's multiple times larger than anything you've ever had before. We can't help gravity, and a lot of the parcels, and we can again show you this if you so care, north of this are at higher elevation. Last time I checked, water didn't go uphill. We're doing the best we can. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time. This truly is not a fun job, and I respect that. What we've efforted to do here, though, is meet the community where they are. I don't want anybody shot in the back, but I'm sure there are people that don't agree with us, and that's fine. But we're efforting to do what we think is right here, not only for the short term, but for the long term. The last time I checked, we were trying to provide the most quality to the most people at the lowest cost. This proposal does all three of those. Unfortunately, and if anyone would like to speak with me, I'm glad to speak with you. I'm glad to buy your land if it's all contiguous and the community will allow it to be rezoned. I did not exclude anyone because we didn't like them or didn't want them. We only selected the parcels that eliminated the problem. We're not a greedy developer. We didn't go push for 15 more acres that will get us more land. We eradicated the problem on the land that was allowed to us and we had partners for. So we've efforted again to meet what the community asked, what we were asked to do. We are glad to put speed bumps on Underwood Road up to where we own property to mitigate anyone. School buses have no problem. They go over speed bumps, everything else. I cannot stop a truck driver. I hate them too. Let's just be factual about it. They're classified idiots with the ability to drive. At the same time, they are there, and whether this is approved or not, they're gonna be there. But we designed this to where it comes out on Couchville. There's no impact to Underwood to the extent that a truck driver ignores the law. Uphold the law, uphold the speed limit, they won't come down the road. I'm not there, I can't do that. I appreciate your time. I appreciate everyone here. Everyone's voice should be heard, pro and con. I do have to leave, but I can find my information at www.firstindustrial.com. My name is there. I'm glad to speak with you about anything. I'm glad to speak with the commission. I'm sorry that we didn't have more members here today, but I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Please come forward.
What's his name?
Corey Richardson. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Rachel Quinn. I live on Underwood Road, 3125 Underwood Road. I don't have that much to say, but I just wanted to kind of talk about how I think it will impact us if this is rezoned and developed. Those are my kids loudly playing out there, so I'm going to make it really brief. But we've been learning all about the topography of the area. We're a homeschool family, and that's my son who got up and was talking about it. And from what I understand, I'm not an engineer or anything, but there's no way to really know what's going to happen if they start blasting or if whatever they're going to do to mitigate those sinkholes to allow the water to still make it into the ground or follow its flow patterns that it has existing right now. But there's no real way of knowing if that's going to be effective or if it's going to work And there's no real guarantee. And for people who are talking about insurance, if anyone's worked with insurance before, it's really hard to get them to do anything. And that can also be devastating to have to deal with insurance companies for years and years and years and not have a place to live. And our family of 8 lives in a little house, and we homeschool there. And I know that if anything were to happen to our house, I think it would be a huge impact on our family, having to relocate, having to rebuild. Even if our insurance company did cover it, it would be a big deal for us. It would be life-shaking. And the other concern I had was with traffic, and I know that there have been a lot of promises made that there would be no trucks going down the road, or I know some truck drivers are they're just like any other people. Some of them are law-abiding, and some of them are not, right? But I have a bunch of brand new drivers coming up who are going to be learning how to drive down the road, and I just know that the other intersection where a stoplight is right, they just started using the red light, but it used to flash. It seems like it's not that safe. I know that I've seen people run that light before, and that's probably going to end up happening with our area too. We'll at least have to have a stop sign if people are going to be coming in and out of that road. I'm just concerned about all the extra traffic going in and out of the warehouses on our street, where my kids are going to be coming out. And also school buses and kids going out to get the mail. My kids go out to get the mail all the time. Our mailbox has been hit by a truck before coming through there. We had to rebuild it. So I just know that does happen. It is a concern, and I think it will impact our family.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do we have anyone else here today wishing to speak on this case? Yes, sir.
Thank you.
He put his hand up. He put his hand up.
Thank you, Council. John Vinson, 1670 Underwood Road.
Say your name one more time, I'm sorry.
John Vinson.
Thank you.
Vincion, Vincion. I've been there 48 years, my whole life. That was my son-in-law that came up just a minute ago, my grandson. That's the 5th generation. A lot of people on Facebook, our wonderful social networking that everybody seems to put as gospel, people get ugly. And there's a lot of talk this last couple of weeks about generational wealth being created off of this deal. I've heard numbers. It's not generational wealth, and I don't blame any of these people for selling. I've seen it my whole life. They've been there, though. Most of them's been there. They've tried to mitigate it. They filled in sinkholes already, trying to keep it from happening. But, and like I said, TTL, I've worked with them. They do work for us on where I work at. They have mitigated before. So my thing is however, as it was brought up before, we have a lot of asphalt out there. This isn't just this one development being talked about right here. As has been brought up, Gladeville Utility brings its water in from the Boomshaw. There's a lot of asphalt there that redirects water into said sinkholes that they're not going to fix now, or they're going to fix so that they continually drain. So that's going to continually, as the lady said earlier, dump diesel, transmission fluid, oil, no telling what else, into the water source. And as was stated, Gladeville water is horrible anyway. But beyond all of that, we have a WEMA official over here. What Gladeville, WEMA in Gladeville is the closest fire station to this area, correct? What does Gladeville WEMA have as far as fire truck?
Fire engine and an ambulance crew.
Okay. How many thousands of square foot could catch on fire in any of these warehouses that's holding no telling how many, whatever's in all of these? Who is going to have to be brought in? Lebanon, Mount Juliet, ladder trucks. What is it going to affect the county WEMA fire if one of these warehouses catches on fire?
Our initial response We got initial responses from our dispatch center, so a commercial warehouse would have at least 4 fire engines, a ladder truck, a Jeep, 2 ambulances, likely more equipment.
Right.
So those come from multiple fire stations, but
Lebanon, Mount Juliet.
anywhere.
Right. Right. Well, I'm just saying, I'm talking about the warehousing in general, because everybody says how good it is for the county. Look, it does bring money in. I'm not going to disagree with that. But our infrastructure is not built for this. Our roads are not built for this. I've spent almost $40,000 on fencing just to try to keep the animals out, my grandkids in. And I've even talked to the road commission about, can I purchase speed tables to go in front of our property? Because coming down the road, down the hill, these people do 50, 60 miles an hour and they pass you. Like I said, that little boy right there, if 3 others play in that yard, guess what? I was told I can't put in speed tables because if somebody hits that speed table and gets killed, I'm liable. So, the developer that wants to put those in there, I think his attorneys are probably going to say, no, we can't do that. But it makes me liable trying to make my family safe, but yet they can come through and do all this speeding, do all this passing, and put my family in jeopardy. 5 generations we've been there. I don't know if y'all know the Lanhams. John Lanham was my grandfather. Legacy. Generational legacy. Leaving something to your family. We have stories there. We have love there. Glayville is not what it used to be, and I understand advancement. I understand development. But help us hang on to that little bit of Glayville we got left right there on Underwood. The safety of us, the safety of our children. And I appreciate y'all today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have anyone else wishing to speak on this case today? If not, I'm going to close the public comment period and ask if we have any questions from our board.
We do, Mr. Chairman, but may I ask for 5 minutes? Can we take a break?
We will take a 5-minute break and come back at 20 after.
Yes, sir.
At this time, we'll call our meeting back to order.
We lost, out of 117, we lost 70.
Oh, my goodness.
Mr. Renfro, you had comments?
You going to let me go in front of everybody?
Sure.
First, a couple of comments. And it was already stated, so I'll just reiterate. If you want to make friends and influence people, don't do this. It doesn't work. Let me get this so everybody can hear this. Also, these people work very hard, and these boards work hard to try to research and listen to everything that was said, because we actually live here, and we understand it. This is deeper than this issue. And I want to read something, Mr. Chairman, with your tolerance. Oh, and one comment. I did try to get this reduced, but the phone system in this building went down yesterday. I tried to call the mayor, I tried to call Chris, just so I could save some time. So I can't take full blame for this. My apologies. This was a University of Tennessee study on the 14th this month that just came out, and I recommend you look at it and read it. And it's in line with the comments, and I couldn't preface this without some of the comments that people mentioned farm. So that being open for this session, I can present it. Tennessee has lost more than 200 acres of farmland daily since 2017, driven by rapid development and population growth, according to a University of Tennessee study, not according to Gary. University of Tennessee. A lot of people wear orange. I don't happen to wear orange, but a lot of people wear orange. In response, the state is investing $2 million in a new planning agency through UT's Institute of Public Service to help manage land use. That's the fundamental issue that I'm referring to. We are having meetings now to try to discern what's the correct land use. Sprawl is not the answer. You've already said it, okay? While East Tennessee has seen notable shifts, I'm from East Tennessee, Knoxville area, many hundred years ago.
The brunt of loss is hitting Middle Tennessee, researchers say. The brunt, that means the biggest, right here, okay? The concern isn't just about open space, the commissioner states, and he actually does an interview with the local Channel 8. It impacts food prices, community stability, which was mentioned in this meeting, and the future of rural living. Okay, so what does that equate to? 8 counties of land have been swept up in development. 8 full counties, landmass-wise, okay? In this report, they say, be concerned for those already here, and it's called the Farmland Preservation Act that was just signed into law by our governor. And in the end, personal comment, Century Farms cannot be the only properties available in 10 years. People's livelihood, their living, okay? Now, I'm not saying people want to farm. It may be nothing but rock, and you can't farm in a sinkhole, so that's not about that, all right? Now, last time we had this long meeting, there was 11 pages, so I did better. I only have 8, Mr. Chairman. I'm doing really well here, but a couple of questions and a couple things to research for the community. There was, and this is, you should check with your commissioner, the people you vote in that can help you with this. They set these zonings and things. We look at that law and we look at what they have. We don't determine traffic. My chairman said the same thing. I don't run trucks. I deal with them on the highway like you do. God forbid. But that's just the way it is. I understand trucks move the nation, but they need to speak English and they need to understand what road signs mean, or add 15 signs like the lady said, so that people understand don't go this way, okay? In Oak Ridge, East Tennessee, they had a sinkhole issue that was rampant, just like where your area is now. People's houses were moving into the sinkholes, foundations were shifting, things were cracking. What they did, they didn't build warehouses on top of it. They bought those people's property and made it a green strip. I'm just saying, that's the information you can look up and find. Not according to Gary, it's in a report. And as an engineer, I look at all these. This particular issue goes deeper than your parcel of land and that kind of thing. And by the way, Chris, I have a question. I see 10 parcels indicated on that other drawing, and you said there are 6, and there's 7 on one side. Did I miss one? There's one in the bottom little corner down there, and if you count all those up, plus the others that he's got mentioned, and the one that's got number 9 in that corner right there is not even on your report. And I'm talking about off Lone Oak in the corner. Is that considered or not?
Lone Oak in the corner.
Yeah, if you look at his drawings, and the very first that was presented, number 9 is in the bottom right corner.
It's a parcel that's outlined, but there's no master plan overlay for that. It's just going to.
So it's not part of this discussion?
Yes. No.
Okay.
No,
I just want to make sure because it was indicated numerically.
Yeah, they're just calling it out on their plan. I mean, that parcel is under ownership of the developer, but there's no.
There's 7 actually, not 6, on the left-hand side and 2 on the right. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, sir. Did I miss one?
In the corner, yes.
As I'm looking at it, the bottom right corner is number 9.
To my knowledge, this developer, this project does not own that building.
That's what I had to ask Chris, because he has to review with these guys.
I may.
There are 7 on the left-hand side, not 8, not 6. Counting the little corner down the bottom. It's indicated by blue. Okay? Just as a note, okay? Signage for trucks doesn't prevent the GPS systems from taking drivers down the wrong way. We've got a fundamental issue in this country because you get in your GPS and you end up going through a neighborhood 25 turns to get to a place you could have gone down to the stop sign, turn right, and you're there. That we can't fix on this board. I'd love to, believe me. As an engineer, rewrite the code and say, you can't go this way. But it doesn't. So until then, mitigation has to occur. And about the fundamental problem, Mr. Chairman, is this. We ask the developer to take care of the property, give me a turn lane, and it's up to you, and good luck to you for going out to a main thoroughfare on down this 2-lane road with no shoulders. There are counties in this state and others, Colorado, other places, not according to Gary, it's on record, okay, that make the developer that keeps people just by fly night, no, not reflecting you guys. I don't think you are. You're out of Nashville. I'm good with that. Is to take and say, I'm going to add this much traffic, and it's this type traffic. I've got to take 3 lanes all the way to 840. I got to take 4 lanes all the way to 840, whatever that is. But we don't require that. It's not in our law. Guess what, people? You can make that change by telling folk that you elect to fix that. It's already been done. It's not like we're setting a precedent. We just got to adopt the same things in like another part of the world, okay? The signage probably won't work. And then I have a question that's rhetorical. We know, all of us, that 840 is the corridor for development. Where does that stop? Half a mile in, 2 miles in, 8 miles off 840? The corridor is not an open-ended piece of property that says, oh, I'm 2 miles from 840, so I must be on the corridor. I'm going to sell my property and put a big building up here. I don't think so. There's got to be a common sense point that says it ends here. It's the first set of properties adjacent to the line, or this or that or the other. Not for us to define, but it's got to be out there, okay? Widening Councilville Pike was mentioned numerous times. Says drainage is going to increase by 25%. That would I'd have to see by the mathematics, but I'm not going to ask for that, because when you add a filter to something, flow is decreased, not increased. Sorry, just the engineer in me. I'm not going to argue with their engineer. I think that they may be adding different ports. If they add extra ports and filters, it may do it. But you got to add extra entries to get that 25% increase if you're going to filter. Okay? Observation. All right. Somebody mentioned noise and water abatement. At what point do we stop that? When you're at 24 hours, the truck's backing in. If you've ever been around an industrial plant, which I have all my life as an engineer, when they back that truck in there, you can hear it a mile and a half away. When it hits the lock, they throw the lock on it, lock it into that for the tow motor to run in and out. When you do that, and the lights overhead that are still on at 2 a.m., you're going to know it. Down at Indivesta Road, when you go that way and look through those backyards of those $1 million homes and you see that warehouse, been down there on purpose at night to look. You can see a long way from that warehouse. Okay? In the public comment, many great comments, both for and against. I will say this, I think these developers have a good heart to try to mitigate the issues, but I gotta say, state and county need to be the first. If you're living on property that you bought 40 years ago and it had a sinkhole and you knew the drainage and water, guess what, guys? You live with it. All right? But if it changed dynamically because they added a warehouse 2 streets over from you, and all of a sudden, this land that drained in a day now takes 5 days, something changed. That delta is attributed to, they're not mutually exclusive events. They're just not. So, not talking about this project, but previous projects. If your water increased, see your elected official, for goodness sake. Okay? We're not elected. They appoint us. It may be my last appointment after this. Who the heck knows? But the people that make the difference are those that are elected. You can make a difference there. All right? The guy that built his pool 8 years ago, and now that it's drained because of the impact. Let me tell you guys something. In another meeting I mentioned, I'll tell you this. These guys can provide it, or you can buy it yourself. There are seismic sensors that can go on your house. If this perchance gets approved, or anything in the future gets approved, add them to your structure, your foundation, your walls, your chimneys, all of that. Because then you stand stronger when you go to these insurance companies and whomever, back to the developer, and say, this was this way before, this shock occurred at this time, I recorded it, it's on my seismic reporter, and I heard the blast. What are we going to do about that? So you have other options. So I want to tell you the community if you can do that, okay? The gas station, additional flooding. Did it or did it not? Rhetorical question. Don't know. When it was added, I know we've got issues in the parking lot. We won't go into that again. We've got issues with traffic. People don't stop. Okay? Maybe we need a better presence with the sheriff's department out there. People start getting $500 tickets, they might do something different. And I would like that. Trust me, I've been down through there. When I go look at these properties, stop at the stop sign or somebody comes blasting by. Can't tell the color of the car, it's too fast. Get that fixed. Talk to your police department. Heck, you pay them. They work for you, okay? Great comments. I'm not going to try to read them all, Mr. Chairman. I know he's going, thank God, thank God, thank God. We need to address the impact all the way to where people can get out safely with school buses, safely with their children in the car, safe, giving me a turn lane to say this big truck is going to back here, and a truck and a half can get there. 4 of them line up, and you can't get past anyway. So please be cognizant of the fact that I'm going to be asking, as a voting member of the state of Tennessee, please do something that allows developers to foot this, if they're going to come in and get serious, fix the road that you get. Don't just put, 1,000 people workspace in the middle of a farmland and it's dirt road all the way out to 840. It's got to be corrected. We can't demand it, we can't fix that, but you can, along with me and my vote, okay? Many thanks to everybody that's been here, both pro and con. Meeting the needs of the immediate community was stated more than once. One of the things that they said on this article, and it's extensive on the University of Tennessee site, was that people are moving in droves. That's part of our traffic problem. I think as a board, personally speaking, as a member, and as a voter for my district and my senators and congressmen, is take care of the people that are living here. We need to take care of those that are here, the ones 40 years, 50 years. Lifetime, 5 generations, 6 generations, for goodness sake, okay? I'm a transplant, but I'm a 35-year transplant, but I'm a Tennessee boy from the get-go. I was born in Harriman, Tennessee, and they do let us out over there, yes. So I understand what beauty is here, no taxes and this, that, and the other. But just because a whole lot of people want to move in and we don't have the infrastructure growth before you start building all the buildings. I'm not talking add 1,756 apartments and then I'll update the road 5 years from now. Oh, that's backwards, okay? Different developer than 2023 presentation. I understand that, but it's still mutually exclusive due to the land use issues. We still are under the law of 2026. Not law, but ordinances of 2026, okay? Until we get something new that you got input in, because they haven't developed it yet. We've been given input on what's industrial, what's not. It's your land use plan. Not the chairman's, not Gary's, not any of us, okay? Get a call to the people. The county hired just like UT did, a development group for land use. Because guess what? They're scared of what's happening. Losing all the farms here in the state of Tennessee. Well, I happen to love farms. I don't live on one, but I worked on one, so I understand them, okay? And I have one last question, Mr. Chairman. Traffic. This is actually a statement. I wish we could vote that traffic down and say, you guys can't do this. I'm not going to say I'd go to the extreme of spike strips, but sometimes they work, okay? When their criminals are involved. I'll clarify that. I got an attorney to my right here. The answer is changing the way people present themselves on the road. And I'm not talking about the 18-wheelers. I'm talking about the 4-wheelers. Going to Nashville, which I hate to do, and see what happens. All right? Somebody says to us, well, you can't stop progress. Actually, you can, if you do it right, and then do it controlled. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm off my box.
Thank you, sir. We have any other comments from our board or questions?
Well, I don't know whether this is a comment or not, but I know I need to go. But if I walk out of here now, somebody's going to say he left because he didn't want to make no decision. I'm here. We listen to both sides. and you always hear one or two things on one side that make you change your mind if you didn't have it changed at first. But I'm going to stay here. If I vote against, I'm just splitting them up, against these people, I'm here to make my mind up to try to make it up the best way I can. Somebody is going to be upset the way we vote here. But we're not getting nothing out of this neither way. I'm just here to kind of make my mind up for the people. And if it's wrong, it's wrong.
Any other questions or comments from our board? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Renfro.
I move that these not be approved.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Mr. Renfro, a second by Mr. Noakes to deny. All those in favor, if you would.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Clarification. Does that include parcels 39 and 39.03?
Yes, sir, I'm including in my motion both of those recommendations from the city.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a motion from Mr. Renfro, second by Mr. Noakes to deny. If you, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. 2, 3. We have 4. All those opposed, please raise your right hand. Okay.
How many?
We have a 4-3 vote. If I counted right, 1, 2, 3.
4 to 4, right?
Got that.
5, 6, 7, 8.
It's 4 to 4.
Is it 4 to 4? Okay. I think I skipped myself. That's okay. We have a 4 to 4 vote.
They don't work.
Which is not a quorum. Any motion to pass in front of this body, it takes 6 votes.
Because so many are missing.
Yeah, I understand, but we can't control that. At this time, I will call for a different motion.
Motion to approve, based on staff recommendations.
We have a motion to approve Ms. Weathers.
You can't solely base that on staff recommendations. 'cause
part-
that's
Only
what
did
you-
half of it.
Now, you can approve the project in whole, similar to Mr. Renfro's motion. You can approve to the project in whole if you want to do that. You just need to mention that it's the entire master plan. But you can't make it subject to staff recommendations because I split them up.
Because you split it. You just,
Yes, ma'am.
the reason we couldn't do anything last time was because the flooding on the west, correct? And they've corrected that, or tried to.
Well, the reason last time, staff actually recommended approval, but it was denied by this, or recommended for no recommendation by this body. The reason called out was due to the amounts of flooding. Yes, ma'am.
Will you make a motion?
Yes.
What is your motion?
What is my motion?
That's a good question.
To approve it without that, that's what Christopher recommended, but we need that
Okay.
You do have the ability to,
with the whole thing.
you do have the ability to amend the, or you could approve it contingent upon, the part that staff did recommend approval, and you can separate it from the part that staff did not recommend approval. But whatever you all approve, that's what's going to be forwarded to the county commission. So if you only do part of the project, county commission is only going to hear part of the project. But that's up to you all to decide there. But it can be approved as a whole, or you can approve it with conditions.
But there can be, in other words, there was a motion to approve parcels 39, 3903, separate and part. Permissible, right?
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion on the table right now, on the floor?
I don't think so.
Well, I'll make that motion.
Well, Ms. Weathers, would you?
Listen, here he goes.
Okay.
Let him go.
Fair enough.
I'll make that motion that we approve for parcels 39 and 3903.
Just the two.
Yes.
We have a motion to approve the 2 stated parcels. Do we have a second?
You on the right side.
That this was proposed. This was proposed. It's an all deal.
Sir, we've had public comment. Thank you.
That's what's been promised.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second? That motion will die from lack of a second. Okay. I am going to make another motion.
Giddy up.
Well, that's probably frivolous, but I'm going to make a motion that we approve all parcels as presented. And my motivation behind that is, and I'm guilty of this on some level, I've been here a long time, I see this as a true opportunity to correct what was probably a wrong in the past to deal with the floodwater. We've already approved another piece of property over off of Macquarie Road to the south of Macquarie Road, where the developers have committed to doing a tremendous amount of work to solve the water problems at the crossroads. I see this as an opportunity to hopefully mitigate probably some mistakes we made in the past. And I'll get in trouble for saying this. The county's not going to fix it. They haven't fixed it.
Okay.
I see this as an opportunity. I cannot promise you. People were saying nobody can guarantee you. Absolutely, I cannot guarantee you that. I see this as an opportunity to potentially eliminate a tremendous amount of stormwater problems that we've had in that area. And I'll make that in the form of a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second from Ms. Weathers. All those in favor vote aye. Please raise your right hand. I'm sorry. We have 3. All those opposed, please raise your right hand. And we have 5.
Okay.
It's a different count.
We're not making much progress.
No, not at all.
At this time, I will ask if there is another motion. Hearing none, this will be forwarded to the county commission without a recommendation from the planning commission. Is that correct, Chris?
Well, you all need to make the motion to forward it without a recommendation.
I will make that motion.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to forward it to the county commission without a recommendation. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, that motion carries.
Next motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Give her a minute. That's crazy. I'm ready to go. Can I leave? You got enough to vote?
You're okay.
That's all right.
We all get carried away sometimes.
Can I leave? I'm ready to go. I got things to do. Can y'all
Well, I wouldn't say that. You did. You were eloquent when you presented.
After all that, you gonna leave?
Hell yeah.
Where you got to go?
I got kids coming. I got a farm application.
They vote on it without, I mean, well, I'll present that it was forwarded with no recommendation, and they'll have the
And I may not come back.
consider the decision of this board. They're just,
I've had a lot of those thoughts lately.
Yeah, I may not ever.
What are we doing here?
We're just gonna wait.
The ratio.
Clear the room for a minute.
When you include Davidson and Williamson,
If you don't mind, folks, everybody who's done, if we could clear the room, we need to resume our meeting.
the third Monday.
I ain't never coming
We got
back.
See you, Ricky.
yep, read the report.
No, they have a public hearing and everything at the county commission as well.
Well, I'm open-minded.
Maybe
Have to get the data and facts.
3-minute timer.
I need a hammer.
They cut you off mid-sentence. It's very more, I don't want to say organized, more concise on your speaking. Yes.
Well, I don't mean to pontificate.
They go right us in.
Yeah. We really need this to make this work
I know you do.
for all the rest of these people
I know
back
you
here.
do. I know you do. I hate it to vote that way.
Yeah.
People's lives are at
Then we got somebody.
I mean, this could be developed, but yet it doesn't alleviate.
It needs that.
It needs that.
You know, so.
And like I said, they're not just trying to land grab. They know that they can make it work.
Deal with those all
Let's get people to take my place right now.
I'm with those guys.
I don't know, sir.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I will call Sue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Frankie, well, you know, buddy.
Thank you for
How you
coming.
doing?
Where you trying to go? You got a singing to get to or something?
Well, have Sunday.
I thought he was going to.
I thought he was too. I
Well,
thought
I
he
didn't
was
want
leaving.
to
I don't know why you had to
Come with a reporter.
That was a good time to leave.
It was, but I said I wasn't going to run out here and let them talk about me
They're online.
doing my job.
Stay away from Amazon.
How you doing,
Go to one of the
What are you doing today? Nothing?
Come watch this.
Okay.
do that kind of, and they offer some.
Hey, Tony.
If you don't find them, let me know through Mr. Chairman, and we'll try to get you something. Through Chris.
All this is just somewhere for everybody to both sides. County Commission decide, right? I mean, if y'all say yes or y'all say no, I didn't bother nobody.
Christopher, are you ready to move forward, sir?
This young lady would be better serving than I would as an officer.
Yes, sir.
Elected.
Just call me.
It'll be next month.
Look, that's up to the commission.
Third Monday.
It'd be forwarded to the July County Commission meeting because there's a land use amendment involved with this request.
You'll skip June, right?
I have to have 30 days to advertise a land use amendment.
What's the date?
No, did he?
Let's say.
I'm sure he did a fine job.
He did.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Third Monday will be 1, 2, 3. I should have it marked. 21st of July.
21st of July.
Cure that day.
You got what? A pedicure?
Well, you better go Saturday.
Hey, send your wife. It'll be all right. I mean, to come see us. You go get your pedicure.
Commissioners to 25. You know, the two commissioners in my district, I run against them. And I come in second, but I didn't come in first. Got 1 out of 3.
Christopher, are we now ready for site plans?
Yes, if you're going to allow him to vote, you need to announce that.
Okay. We had a member leave who had to get back to work, and we have an alternate, a sworn-in alternate appointed by the county mayor, and he is taking his place, Mr. Houston Neal.
Can we swear in his son too, so I can leave?
He's probably smarter than that.
I bet
So,
he is.
If we can move forward, Christopher.
Yes, sir. This one is only for informational purposes at this point. The following application will be submitted to the City of Lebanon Regional Planning Commission for consideration as it is within their planning region. There's no action required. This is for informational purposes only, but it's the application made by James Comer requesting to rezone from A1 agricultural to C3 highway commercial property located at Murfreesboro Road. The property contains approximately 5.01 acres and is referenced as tax map 92, parcel 53.01, Commission District 12. And that's just for informational purposes. But if you want me to proceed, I can start with site plans.
Go.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is that the property with the fence that says Comer on it, that's right there on 231?
It's the property that has the billboard that says Sea Rock City on it. Is that the same piece?
It is. His fence.
Okay.
Thanks. I drove by. I just want to mention.
The first item on the agenda is the site plan for the Dollar General. This is only the monument sign. This is not the Dollar General as a whole. That building is already almost completed construction. But this is just for the monument sign. Site plan meets requirements. Staff can recommend approval.
Anyone here today to speak on this case?
Okay.
Do we have any questions from our board? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Turner. All those in favor vote aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion will carry. You ready for the site plan for Big Rig Trucking entrance gate?
Yes, sir. This is a site plan for the Big Rig Trucking Gate. This is your packet says 3436 Couchville Industrial Boulevard. That is actually 201 Couchville Industrial Boulevard. We finally got the address situated. We've been working with 911 on this to get the address fixed, but it had to be requested by the property owner, and that was part of my comments for this, was to remedy that, and the official address of that site is 201 Couchville Industrial.
201 or 2001?
It's 201.
Okay, 201, I'm sorry.
Site plan meets requirements. Staff can recommend approval. Part of this is just gating off those entrances to make the site, I guess, more secure. They had some fencing requirements that they had to meet from their initial approval, but they've agreed to those.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone here today wishing to speak on this case? Do we have any questions from our board? Do we have a motion?
Motion approved.
I have a motion approved from Mr. Renfro. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Weathers. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion will carry. Site plan for Superior Holdings signage.
Yes, sir. This is located at 380 Aldi Boulevard. This is the replacement of the existing monument sign that are being in the photos that are passed down. It's the same location. They are just making the sign a little larger, but it's still going to be constitute a monument sign. They have submitted corrections, and staff can recommend approval.
Anyone here wishing to speak on this case today? Yes, sir.
Chris Paradis, I'm a project manager and department head over at Superior Electric. We currently have a shop in Nashville, which we're leaving. We've purchased the Tachi building, and this is an existing sign we actually own. We just would like to relocate it to pretty much exactly where that sign is now. So,
All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on this case today? We have any questions from our board?
Mr. Chairman, they said monument, so it's within the restrictions of the county, height-wise?
You recommended approval, I'm assuming so.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's under 10 feet tall.
Excellent. Clarity. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
A motion, Commissioner Noakes to approve, second by Mr. Renfro. All those in favor vote aye. Aye. Those opposed? That motion will carry. Site plan, East Division Street Warehouse.
Yes, sir. This is a warehouse structure on an I-1 zone property. It's currently addressed at 1245 through 1401 East Division Street. The site plan meets requirements. Staff can recommend approval. The applicant has been made aware that the properties will have to be combined before the site plan can be stamped as shown, because we do not permit buildings across property lines in the county.
Is there sewer there now?
No, they are utilizing a site-specific ADINA system is how they're going to service this site. But it will be public sewer per our standards, but as far as traditional sewer, no.
Anyone here on this case want to speak on this case today? Yes, sir, Mr. Bowles.
Yeah, Brendan Bowles, Kimley Horn here to
Don't draw this one out.
try to answer any questions on this one you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on this case? We have any questions from our board?
So we can take action, Mr. Chairman, without the combination first?
Well, you can approve it contingent upon that, but I'm letting you know that I'm not going to stamp it until I have a recorded plat in my office.
We'll move to approve, Mr. Chairman, with
staff recommendations
and upon combination of the property.
Okay. We have a motion to approve based on staff recommendations and a combination plat being submitted for the property. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Turner. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? That motion will carry. Site plan for United Rentals.
Yes, sir. This, I believe, request came today. Or late yesterday. That's why it wasn't addressed at the beginning of the meeting. But this is 105 Logistics Drive, which is the master plan amendment that got approved for the rental company United Rentals. That applicant is requesting deferral until the June 20th, 2025 meeting. They're wanting to make some modifications to the proposed building that they were submitting. And they felt that they were more major than what they could handle administratively.
Do we have anyone here wishing to speak on this case today? Okay. I hate to give people deferrals at the last minute if there's people here, but
okay.
Any questions from our board?
Is that a swell, Chris, or is those are sinkholes, or do you know?
Okay, say that question again.
Are those sinkholes, or is that just a drainage swell from the?
There is a rather large sinkhole, but it's 2 parcels to the south of this. I know that there are probably drainage swells. If you're referring to the most western side of the property, that's actually a TVA easement. It is a swell underneath of it.
Yes.
There is a swell underneath of it that transfers water from north to south towards that sinkhole. But as far as a sinkhole being directly on the site, I'm not aware of that.
Well, this is close to the area where we've been talking about drainage, so just.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And that aerial is not completely up to date. This property is already padded out.
And it is on the opposite side of the interstate.
Yes, sir.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Move for deferral, sir.
Okay. We have a motion to approve?
No, he said deferral.
Oh, approve the deferral.
Yes, sir.
That's what they had asked for.
You've been at it too long.
Yeah. I have a motion to defer to the June 20th meeting from Mr. Renfro. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Noakes. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion will also carry. We have a site plan for the Bethlehem Church, Church of Christ Classroom Edition.
Move we approve.
Can we hear the comments first?
No, we didn't need any.
We already heard.
This is located at 6285 Trousdale Ferry Pike.
Crackers if you're hungry, brother.
I am hungry.
Site plan meets requirements. Staff can recommend approval.
Do we have anyone here wishing to speak on this case today?
Yep. I'm Jess Dillard with Bridgepoint LLC. I'm just here to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Jess. Any questions from our board?
Yes, sir, for the gentleman just came up. You don't have to get back up. That's a permanent structure, not one of those outbuildings that,
That's correct. It'll be connected to the existing church building and the exterior will match.
excellent. Just for clarification, we get a lot of the other.
You had to sit up here all day for that? Wow.
Bless your heart.
Any other questions from our board?
No, sir.
Do we have a motion?
Can we make it now? I just
Yes.
want to make one.
Go ahead, Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, really, second.
I'll even second it.
We have a motion from Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Renfro, to approve. All those in favor vote aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion will carry. Re-subdivision of the Angela Camerati property.
Yes, sir. This is a re-subdivision of the Angela Camardi property and Lot 23 of the Gray property. This is formerly known as the Hofgartner property. It is 3 lots located at 2975 Old Legardo East Road. This plat meets requirements. It has been approved by staff. Staff can recommend approval.
Do we have anyone here wishing to speak on this case today?
I'm just here to answer any questions if you all have any. I'm happy to come up unless you need me to.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Any other questions from our board?
These combinations are going to remain residential?
These are all 3 of these parcels are residential tracts. Yeah, there's 2 existing homes on the property, so it's creating 1 new buildable lot. And the other 2 lots, I'm assuming they're going to remain residential. I mean,
That's it, sir. Thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Ms. Weathers. Do we have a second?
Yep. I second.
Second by Mr. Renfro. All those in favor vote aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion will carry. The renewal of the preliminary at the Grove at Barton's Creek.
this is the renewal of the preliminary. The original preliminary was approved in 2022. We require preliminaries to be renewed every 2 years if they've not been acted on. With technical corrections, staff can recommend approval.
Anyone here wish to speak on this case today?
Happy to answer any questions if you got any.
Y'all don't have to be afraid to get up. Y'all ready to go too, aren't you?
They're ready to go.
I understand.
Oh, we want to stay.
Do you have any questions from our board?
No, sir.
Really?
No, I do, actually.
Just checking.
I was trying to be nice. This is, the Grove at Barton's Creek is a commercial residential place?
It's a residential.
Okay, because when it says the Grove, I'm not sure if that's a proper name for a development or not, but, okay. No other questions, sir?
Thank you. Any other questions from our board? We have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Mr. Turner, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Ms. Weathers. All those in favor vote aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion will carry. Renewal for the preliminary at Barton Groves, the Grove at Barton's Creek, I'm sorry.
That's what we just did.
You did that.
I just did that. Oh,
We're going to do this one.
yeah, that's okay. We're now ready for affirmation plats, Christopher.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I've got 5 affirmation plats. The first is the re-subdivision of the Ray Davis subdivision. It's 2 lots, 6471 Saundersville Ferry Road. Do you want me to read all these at once?
Yes, sir, if you don't.
Okay. The second is a plat amendment of 7 Springs subdivision, lot 17. It is 1 lot. It's located at 137 Seven Springs Drive. Third is subdivision of the King property, lot 1, which is subdivided into 2 lots. This is 2780 West Salisbury Road. Fourth is a re-subdivision of the Glen Haggard Robinson property, lot 2. This is 1 lot, which is located at 1187 Corinth Road. And then the final one is a subdivision of the Thomas Williams property, which is 1 lot located at 7309 Simmons Bluff Road.
Do we have anyone here wishing to speak on any of these cases today? Any questions from our board? Do we have a motion?
We all approve.
We have a motion to approve from Mr. Noakes, second from Mr. Renfro. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Okay, those motion will approve. At this time, we will open the floor for public comment. State law mandates we do that. And let's see if anybody's got anything they want to talk to us about. How are you, sir?
Vote on that,
It's yours.
that farm deal.
First of all, I want to tell you I really appreciate the work that you put in today. I see it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And if you'll hang in there for 3 minutes, that's all I'm asking.
You'll be the only one that didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a suggestion.
That's a slur at me.
Okay.
I heard Jerry.
I'm here to recommend process improvement. First, on how resolutions are generated, and second, how the Planning and Zoning Committee, this commission, and the County Commission communicate. You each have this packet. Recall on March 21st, you heard a resolution to reduce lot size in A1. Let's look at the application. See your first page there? It's titled Application to Amend. 6 lines from the bottom it reads, "It is understood by the undersigned the burden of proof is on the applicant." And why is this important? By seeing a complete application, we can start thinking, who is the applicant, what problem are they trying to solve, and what do they want? A citizen can decide how to prepare to be heard. And what did this applicant ask for? They asked to increase the number of homes in A1 by 50 to 100%. If passed, the consequences would be enormous. Also notice the blank signature block. Just before your hearing, Mr. Ash asked the right question. He knew the Planning and Zoning Committee had not voted on this question. He asked how it got before this commission in the first place. It was the perfect question. Another question is, who really was the applicant? Even though the planner said the Planning and Zoning Committee asked for a revision to look for middle ground, there's no record of this. The fact is, the Planning and Zoning Committee did not ask you to look for anything. That committee never had this on the agenda. They never debated it, never voted on it, and never notified the public that it was even being considered. Very revealing in that in 4 public meetings, not one citizen has ever spoken in support of that proposal. Some people spoke against it, but not even one has spoken in favor. Now you can go on to your next page. You'll see 2 emails on the same page. One county commissioner met with the executive director of the Water Authority. These 2 public officials met, not in a public meeting, and it appears they made the decision that led to this fiasco. And I call it a fiasco because at the end of all of this work, the county commission probably won't even hear the proposal. If so, we should all be thankful, because I can't think of a faster way to get named in litigation than a mystery applicant starting this cascade of events and then the planner making an honest but critical reporting error. The existing process has failed you. What can we do so this never happens again? When you have the time, just look through the 3 models I'm suggesting for correspondence. You can also read my 6 recommendations as well. In a nutshell, we must first end the practice of the planner taking requests directly from individual commissioners, and then we must improve communication between these 3 bodies. I will take any questions.
Anyone had any comments or questions for Mr. Young? I would push back just a little bit on you, Mr. Young, while you do make some valid points. There were discussions held in the Planning and Zoning Committee about this topic. I do not know that anyone was directly directed to bring it to us. I'm not sure how that, which speaks to your point, but I do believe it was talked about.
This is from the minutes. Mr. McFarland announced that he had an item for discussion only at this meeting. Once again, it wasn't on the agenda. There was no vote. And the whole purpose of me being here is to advocate for the generation of this starting at the Planning and Zoning Committee, where it's out in the open, pros and cons are discussed, and citizens can make an input. When it gets here, we can know what the issues were. For instance, the people that came and spoke against that particular amendment, they did not know that the whole thing was going to be based on stale water and sewage. If that had been in the Planning and Zoning Committee, those people would have been prepared to talk about it. But there's no applicant's signature. If the applicant was the executive director for the Water Authority, then we'd know what this is about. It's about water. But there's no signature. So we did not know that. And if you go back, the only person that spoke at any of these meetings in favor of this proposal was the executive director for the Water Authority. And if you'll go back to the to that first page, it says the burden of proving the need rests with the applicant. So all you can assume is that the applicant was actually the Water Authority, but it's not there. Had we known that the Water Authority was the one pushing this, we could have come prepared with expert witnesses or whatever, but we didn't know that because that was all done out of sight.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else wishing to speak to this body today? Christopher, do you have anything else, sir?
I do not at this time, no, sir.
Thank you. We will stand adjourned.